What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Super Hive. Um, let's give some people, let's give people a chance to go ahead and join us. Thank you so much for joining us on this live stream. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, leave a thumbs up. And if you enjoy my content, make sure you go ahead and catch up on any videos you might have missed. Hope everyone can hear me okay out there. All right, we have some people joining. Just gonna give people some time. Happy Friday to you guys. Hope you're getting your weekend off to a good start. I've been trying to do these live streams more often. And again, thank you to my followers, my subscribers, everyone who supports my channel. I was able to get new recording equipment thanks to you guys, and I'm really, truly very thankful. So thank you so much. Let's give people some more time to keep joining. Get some stuff pulled up here. There's been a lot to talk about with just, movies in general, entertainment, movies getting pushed up and pushed back and all kinds of stuff. The trailer's coming out this weekend. Well, at least one that we know of, right? So there's been a lot. Lots going on. Let's see. We don't have too many people in the chat yet, but oh, there it is. Evaldas. Hope I said that right. It's lit. Yeah, there's been a lot going on in the entertainment world so far. This week. Oh my God, I can't talk. All right. If you are interested in my merch, you can find the link in the description. I just dropped some new designs the other day. Here's an example of the Snyderverse shirt. It's available in different colors. Head over there, check out the merch. Hoodies, joggers. I love joggers. So, t-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, face masks, crew neck sweatshirts. I also love me a good crew neck. All right. The newest design that I added is the dark side design. So make sure you check out the merch if you're interested. Link is in the description. Also in the description is a link to my Twitter account. Follow me on Twitter at SuperHiveDC. All right. Anytime I post a video, I'm always on there keeping up with everything that's going on in the DC world, entertainment in general. So make sure you follow me on there if you're on Twitter. All right, let's see who else we got in the chat. Some people are joining. Let me fix my screen a little here. Lots to go, lots to talk about. Jared Leto's Joker little snippet is great. He's my favorite Joker. Yeah, I did talk about that on my last live stream. It was pretty cool to see David Ayer share something. All right, happy Friday to you guys if you're just joining us. Anthony, my Friday's been good. I watched Kong Skull Island. Love it. Gets me excited for Godzilla vs. Kong. Yeah, that's something we're also going to talk about, Godzilla vs. Kong. I think I've seen some other people tweeting or sharing that they are watching the older Godzilla and King Kong movies to kind of get hyped up. The trailer's coming out Sunday. Fire emoji. I'm glad that one showed up. Sometimes they don't show up on here. Cheetah and Maxwell Lord First Night. That's a new one, Lucas. I haven't seen that one yet. We got some more people joining us in the chat. What's up? What's up? From Chicago. Yes, I do recognize your name. I always see you in my channel, so thank you so much for the support. But all right, guys, so again, thank you for all the support on the channel. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. I know that my camera is my camera's not that close to me, but the view is a little bit awkwardly close, and it's because I have a wall here, where my stuff is set up, so I only have so much space. I'm trying to get a little bit farther away from the camera as much as I can in the space that my stuff is set up. So hopefully it's not awkwardly close. Who else we got joining us? Yeah, Chicago. I do when you guys share where you're from in the chat. So it's always interesting to see where people are from. But let's see what else we got going on in the chat before we get started. Everyone just gotta leave Zach alone and give him complete freedom. He proved himself as a great visual artist multiple times. Yeah, I agree. I hope that's what HBO Max, AT&T, I hope that's what they realize with this whole thing with the Snyder Cut. I hope that's what they gain from this whole experience. Oh, sorry, I can't see your emojis. I can see them in the chat, but not when I click on them. I can see your little strong arm emoji. All right, so again, lots to talk about. Let's see what we got on the agenda. So I want to talk about we have the latest episode of Wandavision we can discuss. Whether or not that will be spoilers, I'm not sure. I guess it depends what people bring up in the chat. It did just come out today though, so I might try not to spoil it. But Godzilla versus Kong, Morbius. I just saw on Instagram some other movies, dates moved around and got pushed back as well. Well, Godzilla got actually moved up, but Morbius got pushed back. And then we also have, Superman and Lois. We got the trailer for that. Currently in Northeast England. Wow, awesome. Okay. UK. I've always wanted to visit London. Cool to know. All right. So let's start off with, what should we start off with? Let's see. Why don't we start off with Godzilla versus Kong, okay? Just finding our channel, great content. AZ Brown, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the support. I'm glad you like my content. I hope I can continue to create content that you enjoy. But thank you for letting me know, and thank you for joining the live stream. All right, so excuse me. Godzilla versus Kong got moved up to March 26th. It's been a hot topic since it happened. It got moved up about a month or two, if I if I remember correctly. But nevertheless, it got moved up to March 26th. Now, some of us Snyder Cut fans were a little nervous about this because we know Zack Snyder's Justice League is coming in March. We just don't know exactly when yet, right? So hopefully this doesn't, interfere with Zack Snyder's Justice League. Hopefully hopefully they have a decent amount of distance between them being released. So that way they don't kind of overshadow each other. But there is going to be a trailer this Sunday. So, when they decided to move it up, everyone's kind of like, well, are you gonna give us a trailer? Because if you're moving it up to be that soon and there hasn't been any trailer for it yet, we've seen little snippets here and there in some of the HBO Max marketing, but not a trailer. So there will be a trailer Sunday. All right. So yeah, I think I've been seeing, this is a pretty cool quick little clip. He is massive. I really did not think that Kong was going to be that big. I mean, in one of the shots that we got, what was it for? I think it was one of the things that they released for HBO Max or Warner Brothers, showing a preview of their slate for the year, all the movies that are going to get the hybrid release. It was from a distance, so it looked far, he looks big, but seeing him in this part, next to a person, he's never been that. I mean, he's been big in previous movies, but that is insane. That's ridiculous. That is, I mean, they really made him totally massive for this movie. He's huge. How is he that big? That's ridiculous. That is crazy. I know a lot of people are saying, Godzilla. I don't know. I haven't really given it a lot of thought, who I think is going to win. I just think it's going to be a cool action movie. So Yeah, Godzilla vs Kong trailer Sunday. All right. Let's see who else we got in the chat. All right. I actually liked WandaVision. Yeah, we're gonna get into that too. There's 3 episodes now. I've seen all of them. Let's see. We'll go back to WandaVision in a minute. Let's get caught up in the chat real quick. Hi again, hope you're well. Have you watched the latest interview from Sean and Hannah at Cinema Blend, their discussion in relation to the marketing, and what are your thoughts? Oh, you know what? I do usually keep up with their videos, but I don't know if I've seen that one. What was the last one I just watched? I can't remember if it was one about marketing and all of that. I just watched one recently, but I don't think it was about that. What was it about? Oh, I think the last one I watched was, oh my God, this hair is bothering me. Sorry. I think the last one I watched on Cinema Blend was Sean was giving Hannah like a little like lesson on Darkseid's history. I think that's the last one I saw in there. But thank you for giving me the heads up, and I will check it out because I do like their videos. I do like their channel. I have zero interest in Godzilla vs. Kong. I mean, I know there's some people who are like extremely excited about it, and I wouldn't say I'm like super excited, but I am interested to watch it. I don't know if I'll see it in theaters, but like I might. I don't know. I guess it depends. It's great to CGI in the movies make it look like a documentary level of realism. It does look, yeah, it does look good. From what we've seen so far, I guess we'll get a better idea in the trailer Sunday. But it does look like the CGI is probably going to be on point. I mean, if it's coming out in March, then that means, I mean, if they moved it up to March, they should be very, they're probably just giving, the smallest little touch-up details, finishing touches. Let's see. What we need is Snyder leading the DCU and Cyborg to return. Yeah, I think we would all love for that to happen. Brazil, awesome. Thank you for watching. Thank you for letting me know where you're from. I really do like to see where people are from in the chat. My first thought was maybe Zack Snyder's Justice League will be released on March 1st or pushed back to April. Yeah, well, Zack did say it's still March, so they're not pushing it back. But since I have the same feeling about, like beginning of March, since they moved up Godzilla versus Kong to the end of March, I'm hopefully like thinking like they'll have like maybe 3 weeks in between or something. I mean, I guess part of it also is that as of right now, Zack Snyder's Justice League is not getting the hybrid release. They're not doing the HBO Max and theaters same day release. Godzilla vs. Kong is getting that kind of release, but Zack Snyder's Justice League is not. So that's the only thing I think that's kind of keeping them a little bit separate. And again, Godzilla vs. Kong will only be available just like they did with Wonder Woman 84 and their other hybrid releases. It's only going to be available the first month on HBO Max. Just like Wonder Woman 84 is about to leave HBO Max. Philosopher, any theories on who Godzilla and Kong will battle against when they inevitably team up? I've heard someone else said that. I don't remember what I was watching, a stream? Oh, I think it's when I was watching The Four Nerds last night. I don't know. I guess I hadn't even thought about that until they mentioned it on that stream last night. I don't really know who else they could be, who could be on that level. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, drop them in the chat. Who else could they go up against if they team up? Team Kong, yeah. Oh, cool. I think it's cool when people are Team Kong because he's a little underrated as far as like who's gonna win. Very dramatic, yeah. The scale of Kong, like he is so, I can't believe how big he is. It's insane. Can other characters be dark characters? You're gonna have to make. I'm not sure what you're talking about in that one. You gotta have to give me a little bit more on that question. What you're talking about? Definitely hype for that trailer. I think it is probably gonna be a good trailer to get people excited. I mean, a lot of people are Godzilla fans. A lot of people are. I was never too much into Godzilla. I do like some of the. I do like the old the King Kong movies. So I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards like I'm a little bit more interested in seeing King Kong because I like him. I think Godzilla and Kong are going to team up kind of like BVS. I've seen people, comparing it to BVS recently, and it's interesting, even though they're animal characters. I guess people are kind of getting similar vibes on that. Team Godzilla. Yeah, I think Godzilla probably has more votes, but I'm gonna go for Kong on this one just because I like his character. Godzilla will heat ray Kong and his. Yeah, I think a lot of people are saying like he has the the fire breath, and so like what is a even though Kong is apparently massive, like what's he gonna do against that? Um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some surprises that we don't we're not ready for yet. Here's another thing. He is I can't like he is huge. He is so big. I wonder if we're gonna get little teaser things like this for Zack Snyder's Justice League, the final trailer. I wonder if they're gonna have little things like this, these little, you know, 3 second or 6 second teasers. They gotta do something like that. Um, Zach was sharing images and stuff leading up to the first trailer, but I wonder if we're gonna get something like that for the final trailer of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Team Godzilla, they more Team Godzilla. Let's see, Team Both, they gotta be yeah, I guess that's what people are expecting to happen. Let's see. March 20th would be a perfect date, isn't that when Zack's daughter? Yeah, I do believe that is when she died, but I don't think that's enough time before Godzilla versus Kong comes out. I don't think 6 days is enough. They could fight Mecha Godzilla. I don't know if I know who that is, but hey, you probably know more about it than me, so maybe. I think Kong and Godzilla are gonna fight either. Oh, okay, Mecha Godzilla, Mecha Ghidorah, or okay. See, I'm not familiar with those characters, so I don't know. I wouldn't be able to say if I agree or disagree completely with that because I don't know those characters. Like I said, I'm not really. I was never really like a big Godzilla person, so I'm not as familiar with those characters. Apparently, someone says Zack Snyder's Justice League will be released on March 20th. I think a lot of people are just. Um, I think a lot of people are just thinking of dates that could potentially be significant in March or have some kind of meaning. And so that's when they're, that's where these fan theories are coming from. But again, I don't think they're going to release both of them at the end of March or like that close together. I mean, I don't know, but that's just what I think. I don't think they'll release them that close together. They will, I'm sure. Similar to BVS, they'll team up against the greater threat, which might be okay. I guess that, yeah, I guess maybe you guys are onto kind of a consensus on who they might team up against. So I guess maybe, yeah, we could definitely see if that happens. Purple Lord Leo, thank you so much. I got to give you a big shout out. I am so grateful for the super chat and tuning into the live stream. Thank you so much. Means a lot. Had to size up Kong to be close to Godzilla. Other fights will be okay. Mothra, Godzilla villains look good. Look on new. Oh, thank you. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm trying to talk, loud enough to where it sounds okay. But thank you for yes, thank you so much. Thank you for letting me know. And again, thank you for this super chat. It means a lot. Thank you. They do look good. They do. I gotta say, I didn't expect it to look that like the aesthetic is. It looks good in my opinion, especially for how big he is. Like I didn't expect him to be that big. I know I keep talking about that, but it's like unexpected for me. I see. I don't know who that is, so I'm kind of out of the loop on these characters. I'm sorry. Oh wait, let me go back to this one. I skipped by accident. Godzilla saved Martha Kong. Why did you? Yeah, I know people are making so many references to BVS. It's kind of funny. Like charters from other franchises like Sonic or something like that. Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see. We got Ryan. What's up, Ryan? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. If you're just joining us, we're just kind of talking about Godzilla versus Kong. Trailer comes out Sunday. Got moved up to March 26th for the release. If you're joining us, make sure you subscribe. Hit that thumbs up down below. Florida, awesome, Julian. I love Florida. I went there a lot growing up. And thank you so much for your compliment. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, Bob. Nice to see you. Something on Twitter saying 14, it's a picture. Someone said that we're getting a date for Justice League on February 14th. Possibly. I mean, 214 is a significant date. Again, like I said, people are, thinking of all the possible significant dates coming up that could mean something. But I know some people are kind of getting like impatient about not having anything yet for Zack Snyder's Justice League or whatever. But people need to remember that Wonder Woman 84 just barely came out like the last week of December. So I know, like, because Zach said, like, beginning of the year, early in the year, they're gonna start, ramping up the marketing. Well, yeah, but January, they're not gonna. I mean, they had to give Wonder Woman 84 its time. Like, it's barely gonna be. It's gonna just be taken off HBO Max in like a few days. So it's only barely gonna be out a month in a few days. So I think they had to give it its time. It's not just like, oh, it's January, so we're going full blown Zack Snyder Justice League marketing. They can't. I mean, they gotta give Wonder Woman 84. They had to give her time. What's up, Nicotina? Thanks for all your support. I watched your Four Nerds stream last night. It's always entertaining. Always fun to listen to you guys. Let's see. I'm sure Godzilla and Kong will beat each other, then team up for something else. I guess that seems like what a lot of people are thinking, that they're going to end up teaming up against another villain of some kind. What's up, Colin? Always good to see you. Always good to see you. Let's see what else people are saying about Godzilla versus Kong. I have a nostalgic love for Kong. Saw the Jackson 5 film and fell in love with Kong there. Yeah, I do. I think you bring up a good point. I think Kong is a little bit more nostalgic. In some way compared to Godzilla. I guess it depends what people like, watched a lot. There's been a lot of King Kong movies, a lot of Godzilla movies. But I do think King Kong has a little bit more of nostalgia associated with him just because he's a little bit more like emotional in some way. Ray Fisher was kind of talking about it on his live stream yesterday because people were asking him, I think it was yesterday, Team Kong, Team Godzilla, and he was saying that King Kong is kind of the underdog in this situation. So he's a little bit more emotional than Godzilla, who's kind of just like a monster. Not a monster, but like he's a giant lizard. And, being an ape, Kong kind of has a little bit more, depth, I guess you would call it. Personality? I don't know if that's the right word. You guys know what I mean. All right, let's see. So, what's up, Jacob? I don't know if it's going to show your hand waving. Oh, good. It showed it. Okay. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Godzilla vs. Kong, Dawn of Justice. Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't expect people to be comparing it to BVS so much, but it's kind of catching on now. I've seen it on Twitter too. So, all right, let's switch gears here. So, another thing I wanted to talk about was we got a trailer for Superman and Lois, right? And I gotta say I was surprised in a lot of ways. Okay, just to give some context and some background on where I stand here. I was never really like a big fan of how they portrayed. I mean, okay, first of all, when they announced that Tyler Hoechlin was going to be Superman in the CW universe, I wasn't that jazzed about it. Like, I didn't, I don't know. I just wasn't like, it didn't get me that excited about him being Superman. Like, I was really interested to see who they were going to cast as Superman in that universe because once they introduced Supergirl, I mean, it's like, okay, they started mentioning Superman. Like, eventually you're expecting them to show, who's going to be Superman. I didn't know, obviously, at the time that they were going to have a whole new series for Superman, but expected him to be in the that universe in some way. And I wasn't that excited about Tyler Hoechlin being cast as him, but I was like, well, we'll just see, how it goes. I don't think they used his character very well in like the Supergirl episodes or like the crossovers. He just was very watered down and like underpowered. He was not very interesting to me. And okay, performance wise as an actor, that was not the issue for me. My issue was more of like the writing for him, and that he like they didn't use his powers very well. A lot of times he was kind of useless. Like he didn't do much in situations. I've actually thought he was more interesting as the evil Superman when they encountered evil Superman with the black suit. I thought he was portrayed more interesting than regular Superman. And I don't know, I just thought he was kind of useless a lot of the time. So I wasn't like when they announced that they were going to do a Superman and Lois show, I was like, I'm also not crazy about uh, the girl who's cast as Lois, but I don't know. That's just me. Um, so anyway, the trailer really like surprised me in good and bad ways. I'm not gonna play the sound, but I'm sure most of you have seen it by now. It is very different from what I expected. I did not expect this. I don't think I'm the only one who was somewhat surprised by the tone. I mean, if you go and listen to it, like the music, the coloring, and immediately people are like, this is so Man of Steel vibes, right? Like it's crazy that I don't know. I was not expecting that at all. Like the coloring, it's not all like super bright and like poppy and like, you know what I mean? It has more of that muted color tone to it, which I like. I'm a fan of that. I love like, um, Zack Snyder's color grading, like, Man of Steel. I like all of that. So that's not a bad thing in my opinion. Um, but I was not expecting it for this because like when you see the other CW shows, they have the CW look to them. Like they're brighter, they're light-hearted, there are heavy things that happen. Like the first 3 seasons of The Flash were so good in my opinion. Then it kind of went downhill after that. They started getting like more cheesy and more campy. That's what I was expecting from this. I thought it might be kind of cheesy and like campy and like corny, but it doesn't look like that, in my opinion. It looks more what was the word I was gonna say? It looks more serious, I guess, is how I would describe it. It looks like it's more heavy. It looks like it has more weight to it. It doesn't look, I'm sure there will be little things here and there that are kind of like, cheesy jokes or whatever, but there was only one little thing like that in the trailer, and it's when he says, I wish I could get drunk sometimes. But it's not like a corny thing, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just really surprised by it. Superman and Lois looks good. It does look better than I expected. I'm gonna say that first of all, but and it does look like they're giving it a pretty decent budget. Um, it does. So let me pull up some pictures real quick so we can look at them. It does look like they're giving it a decent budget. I will say that. And it's going to be interesting to see Superman and Lois or Clark and Lois, whatever, with kids. Like, it is going to be a new thing like we haven't really seen before. See, here's some, here's some comparisons. Even the suit, I'm glad they changed the suit because I did not like his suit at all in Supergirl. I thought it was very bulky. I thought like the big straps right here, I didn't like that. His boots looked awkwardly big and bulky on him. So they definitely made some upgrades to the suit for sure. And like it's just interesting to me that it is very much like Henry Cavill's suit. Like it's very similar. But of course, not cinema level, But even Supergirl's suit, they changed hers to be a little bit more like that too. They got rid of the skirt. They gave her pants before her show ended. So, um, yeah, Man of Steel vibes very much. And I have mixed feelings about it because, okay, yes, on one hand, it looks better than I expected. But on the other hand, because it has these Man of Steel vibes, it's kind of frustrating in a way because Warner Brothers and DC, they didn't they didn't support Zack when he got backlash for his aesthetic, his tone, his coloring, his music, the suit. Like he got backlash for like every decision that he made with Man of Steel. And then Warner Brothers and DC, instead, they didn't support him during that time, and they weren't like, okay, you know what? This is the direction we're going. This is what we're gonna, this is what we're doing. Just give us some time. You'll see some development, whatever. They didn't support him in that. You know, by the time they got to Justice League, they're like, we want to move away from all of that aesthetic. We don't want that kind of color grading. We want it to be brighter. We want it to be, more jokes. We want the color to look different in the movie. So if they would have supported and embraced what Zack started in Man of Steel, BVS, that tone, that aesthetic, then this would be more exciting for me personally because it'd be like, wow, like they're really using that as inspiration even in their movie universe. And if they have good intentions by doing that, then that's a good thing. If they're not trying to just be like, oh, well, we don't want that in the movie universe, but we're going to take that and we're going to use it in our series, then I think that's not really right. I don't know why this keeps changing color. I'm sorry. Um, I, you know what I mean? That's where I'm having a problem with it in that if they're doing it with good intentions and they're like, okay, we're going to embrace this now and we're on board with it, then that's fine. But if they're just like, oh, we're going to let people bash it in the movies, but then, we'll use it on the TV series and take credit for it. Like, I hope that's not their intent with that. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm kind of having mixed feelings about it. But it did get me more interested in it than I was originally, just because of how they portrayed him on the crossovers and Supergirl. In the series, Superman's suits are lame with diapers. Only Zack makes it look tough. Yeah, I'm totally glad they're not using that look. There's no reason for him to have that. I don't, in my opinion. Superman and Lois looks good. I think people are kind of surprised by how good it looks compared to like some of the other CW shows. Looks like it actually has a budget. Yeah, I think that's what people are appreciating about it too. Is that some of the other, like the other. I haven't watched Batwoman yet, but like I have, watched Flash. I did watch most of the seasons of Supergirl, Arrow. Sometimes their budgets looked low. The first season of Supergirl was probably the worst in my opinion. The budget and like the production on the first season was really bad. They finally started getting better with like how Martian Manhunter looked and flying and like those kinds of things, but it does look like it's going to be better in Superman and Lois. Let me pull up this. This is just a quick snippet, real quick. It does look better compared to Supergirl and the other CW shows. So, I mean, in that way, that's a positive thing, If they're going to put money into it because they have faith in it that it's going to do good, then, And it is going to have a 2-hour premiere. Hold on, let me pause it real quick. It is going to have a 2-hour premiere, which is basically a movie. I mean, that's 2 hours with, like, commercials and stuff, so, it's probably really only, like, 40 minutes total of actual content. The Hero the World Needs, the 2-hour premiere event airs Tuesday, February 23rd. So 2 hours, I mean, it's cool that they're giving it a 2-hour premiere, I guess. They really want people to be interested. I wonder who the villain's going to be. I couldn't tell who that character was in that suit. It looks like he is going to encounter kryptonite, though. And I also one of the interesting parts I took from the trailer, too, was that it looks like he ends up It doesn't look like his sons know growing up that he's Superman, because in the show they're already like teenagers. I mean, I maybe they'll show flashbacks of like when his kids were younger or something. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but um, at that part of the trailer, there was a part in the trailer where it looks like he's telling them that he's Superman, and they're like in disbelief, you know. And so he's showing them things that he can do. That obviously he's Superman. Um, so I think that that's interesting that he's telling them when they're a lot older and they don't know growing up. Maybe it was to protect them, or you know. But then it also makes you wonder, do they have powers? Because you would think that if they're already teenagers, if they had powers, wouldn't they already kind of have noticed by now? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Initially, Tyler's Superman was used to prop up Supergirl. They nerfed him to make Supergirl look better. His character portrayal was good. He has the character down. See, yeah, performance wise, I think it's fine. Like, it is going to take me a little bit more time to, like, picture him as Superman. I don't really get Superman when I see him in the suit. Like, I still need a little bit of convincing in that way. But performance, he's fine as an actor. I just think that, yes, a lot of people have said they kind of watered him down to make Supergirl look more powerful, but they still could have utilized him better. They treated Superman as I think you meant inferior to Supergirl, but this trailer definitely got me hyped for it. Looks very cinematic. It does. Um, it does look better, especially compared to the other CW shows. It looks like it would be on. Sorry, I gotta clean my glasses. It looks like it would be on a different network than. It doesn't look like a CW show. I wonder how many episodes it is. If it's 8 to 9, could be a high quality show. Well, that's another thing. Um, the other CW shows are like super long. Well, they have a couple of breaks during the season where they don't air episodes for like 4 weeks or whatever it is. And so they have like 20 something episodes. I don't know. I think 8 to 9 episodes seems a little small for a CW show. The Netflix shows and like those shows usually only have like 9 or 10 episodes because, you know, they're Netflix originals and they don't usually have like 20 something episodes. But the CW shows usually have a lot of episodes. So I think it would probably be more than that, even if it does have a higher budget. Because I think they're willing to probably put more into a Superman show than maybe the other ones. I'm glad a CW show's finally getting a budget. Yeah, I think that's a pretty positive thing about it. It looks like it'll have a decent budget. Love your channel. Can we follow on Instagram? Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed the channel. Thank you for joining the live stream. I am on Instagram, but it's not, um, it's just like a personal account. So if you want to follow me on there, you can. My username is Mrs. Brooks _fit, but it's not for my channel. But you're more than welcome to follow me on there if you'd like. Thank you for asking. With Supergirl leaving, they will stop nerfing him. Maybe. That could be true. Now that her show was canceled, she's not getting any more seasons. Maybe they will kind of, you know, level it up and give him his character like the epicness that Superman should have. Like he should be doing epic, really cool stuff. I mean, within their budget for TV, of course. But you know, I don't want them to water him down, is what I'm saying. I'm intrigued by Superman and Lois, but I've lost faith in the CW, but maybe this is what I need to jump back in. Yeah, I do think that, you know, aside from the mixed feelings I have about them kind of using Man of Steel inspiration for the aesthetics and the tone, I do think that maybe more people will be interested in this compared to like The Flash and Arrow. And like I said, I haven't watched Batwoman yet, so I don't know how that one is. Like a lot of people don't like CW shows like Stargirl's high budget, something that HBO Max needs more. Yeah, I haven't watched Stargirl either, but it is on HBO Max, so I think I'll watch it at some point. But maybe now that it's at HBO Max, it'll, you know, get vamped up a little bit. Batwoman is just the first purge. I don't know. I mean, have you guys watched Batwoman? I don't know how it is. Man of Steel series on HBO Max. That would be awesome. I mean, as long as Henry Cavill doesn't get recast in the movie universe, I'll be happy. Like, if it is true that he's just going to be making, you know, cameos and have roles in other DC movies, that's fine with me. Like, I just want to see more of him. You know what I mean? And as long as he doesn't get recast, even if someone besides Zack ends up making another Superman movie down the line, I just want them to use Henry Cavill. That's like what I would like. I hope that if they do get someone to make another Superman movie at some point, I hope they just don't recast him. Like, please use him. Please. It looks higher budget due to the lower episode count. Yeah, I guess that could be a trade off that they're making, fewer episodes for a higher budget, which I guess could probably be better. Um, like sometimes, like for instance, on The Flash, for example, sometimes they just kind of drag out the story through like 23 episodes when it's like they could have done something to stop the villain like a long time ago, but then they have all these other like side plots that happen and it just kind of drags it out for a really long time. I don't think maybe that's not what they're going to do here. Maybe they'll have fewer episodes and higher budget, better quality. Thanks for liking my Joss the Sauce Sweden post on Twitter. Oh yeah, I did see that, and that was a new one. I hadn't seen that one yet, but you're welcome. Save Martha. People keep saying that. It's so funny. More BVS references for Godzilla versus Kong. Let's see about Batwoman. Batwoman has Batman having a weakness to kryptonite. Yeah, no. What? I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Let's see. Yeah, if you're referring to what that I was saying about bringing that Man of Steel vibe to Superman and Lois, like I said, it looks better than I thought. What's up, McLovin? But you know, I just wish they would have supported Zack in that way and embraced it instead of being so reactionary and like trying to change everything. Because then it would be more like exciting that they're going this route with the show. Mm, but it did get me more interested. I gotta say, it did. I think that the CW, after seeing how big of a hit Stargirl was on their network, maybe decided to give Superman and Lois a high budget. Yeah, maybe they had, I think especially with, you know, a character like Superman, they shouldn't be afraid to invest in his character, you know. So Jeff Johns is the undercover Snyder lover. Yeah, that's the thing I have a problem with too. Is like it seems like he's not supportive of some of the stuff that Zack wanted to do in the movie um universe, but then he'll use it in like maybe not exact things, but like similar things that like for instance, Titans is dark. Titans is not you know cheesy jokes and like bright colors, and it's not any of that, and it's dark and it's violent and all the stuff. I mean, a lot of the stuff that Zack Snyder's gotten criticized for. So that's where I have a problem with that. But have you seen Legends of Tomorrow or Black Lightning? I have. Not the most recent ones. Kind of started getting behind on those, but I did see them, and Black Lightning was good. I liked Black Lightning, and Legends of Tomorrow was pretty interesting too. All the time travel and stuff. I hate how WB is like Zack's style sucks for DC, but let's have someone else do it, a discount version, and everyone praises it. Yeah, that's exactly where I have the problem. That's where my issue is. It's not that it looks bad. It's not that I just wish that they wouldn't have those, like, just embrace it and say you're going to embrace it and then, like, stick to it. Not try to change it on one side and then use it on the other side. Like, that's not fair, in my opinion. But, let's see. Something a little... Okay, did you know originally Wonder Woman 84 was supposed to be about the Cold War, Cheetah, the Wishing Stone, and Max Lord? It was leaked, then reshot. I didn't know that, and I haven't seen that. I'm not sure. I didn't know that. All right. So also let's see. What's up, ACS? Anthony, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Always good to have you with us. Thank you for your support. Yes, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Everyone giving ACS, Anthony from ACS Universe, shout outs in the chat. Oh no, now I'm getting these on mine. It's well, of course, those ones actually, those emojis actually show up in the screen. Other ones don't. Um, let's see. It's 5:55 a.m. here, and I'm attending this session. Thank you so much, and you support my channel a lot. I really appreciate it. So thanks for joining. Nice to see you. Thank you for checking out the live stream. I appreciate it. I gotta get the chat is like kind of overwhelming me. So I can't address everyone's comments, but thank you guys a lot for leaving your comments in the chat. So another thing I wanted to talk about was Morbius got pushed back, and I think it's gotten pushed back a few times, but it got pushed back again. It was supposed to come out this year. I think it was supposed to come out in October, and then it got pushed back to January of next year. So it got pushed back far, like a year from today, actually, or a year from yesterday. January 21st, 2022. That is really, I mean, that kind of sucks in my opinion, because I'm actually looking forward to Morbius. Jared Leto had made a post about it too. That's when I first saw it, because I get notifications for him. And I mean, people are making all the Bernie Sanders memes, but he added that Morbius was being pushed back to next year. And one of these looks like a set picture from it. So that, that's a pretty long time. I mean, obviously it's been done for a while. And so it kind of sucks that we have to wait that long to see it. Like, we got a trailer for it a long time ago. But nothing really since then. And I guess we probably won't, since it's been pushed back till next January. But I guess because, the whole theater thing, and then I'm sure like other studios, Sony wants to get as much as they can from the theater release. So, it's unfortunate, but let me see what else I saw. There were some other movies that got pushed back too that I saw on Instagram. Let me go find them. I know one was No Time to Die. Let me see what I saw. Okay, Uncharted has been delayed until February of next year. February 11th, 2022. No Time to Die has been pushed back to October of 2021, so this year. But, pushed back. So, I mean, I guess it's not surprising, that that a bunch of movies, even big ones that should be, really big blockbuster hits, are still getting pushed back, and because of the whole COVID and theater situation. But I am looking forward to Morbius, so kind of sucked to hear that got pushed back again for the release date. But I mean, I don't know if they really have like the option of doing a streaming service or anything like that, because it's Sony. I don't think they'll do that. They probably just want to release it in theaters. All right, so let's move on to WandaVision. Low-key watching the 3rd episode of WandaVision right now, so I'm kind of would discuss. Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad you watched it. They're short, so they're easy to get through. But before I saw this question a while ago, so let me bring it up before we get to WandaVision. I have a question. How much screen time of full Darkseid will be in the Snyder Cut? Because Ray Porter said he shot 5 hours of mocap. Did he say 5 hours? That sounds long. Not that we're going to have 5 hours. I mean, the whole movie is 4 hours. But, I don't know. That's a good question. And that's an interesting thing to think about. Well, in the history lesson, we know he's going to be Euxis, so he's not full-blown Darkseid yet. Still going to be epic, though, right? But full-blown Darkseid, I don't know. I mean, I guess a time that we know for sure we're going to see him is at the end when the League looks up through the boom tube and they see him. But other than that, I don't know how much we'll see of him in that form. Like completely armored up, full-blown Darkseid. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to think about. how long we'll see him like that, or how much screen time he'll have um, in that way, looking like how he looks as full blown dark side. But I mean, since we're talking about that, we can go ahead and look at the official merch again for full blown. Like, this is the first look at him that we've seen him like completely armored up. I don't think we'll see him like that in a trailer because that'd be a pretty big spoiler. But I mean, I'm sure this is how he's. I'm sure that's what we can expect him to look like in the movie as full blown dark side, because I mean, his face and everything looks how he does in the teaser when he's Euxis still. So, you know, it's really cool that, you know, they're marketing Darkseid, and, you know, all of that, you know, people talking about marketing for Zack Snyder's Justice League, that is part of marketing as well. So it's cool that they're using, you know, Darkseid to market for it and merch. But I don't know how much screen time we'll see of him as full blown Darkseid. I do not know. We'll see. There's a lot we don't know. 4 hours is a lot. I'm super excited for the Snyder Cut, but I was really sad to hear that it was R-rated, not because I don't like R-rated movies, but because it means my little cousins can't watch it with me. Well, I don't expect it to be like a hard R rating. Similar, I just think there will be some parts that make it rated R, like not the entire movie start to finish. Probably just some of like the action will be a little bit more graphic, a little bit more violent, especially because Steppenwolf has an axe. So that makes it more violent in and of itself. And then, I mean, Zach mentioned that, like, you know, Batman drops an F bomb, and there could be some, you know, certain language used by Cyborg or Victor Stone. So I don't think it's going to be like a full start to finish rated R movie. It's just some things that are going to make it rated R. Like, even the Ultimate Edition of BVS, it's rated R, but it's like a light R. It's a soft R. It's not like a hard, like super, like hard to watch rated R. No, it's just like, you know, some of the more, it's a little bit more bloody, and, you know, part of the scene in the beginning in Africa is a little bit more, there's a little bit more graphic stuff to it, like people being executed and things like that. So it's not like everything in the whole movie is really like, you know, super vulgar language and all of that. I don't expect it to be like that. It's just certain components will make it rated R. Warner, HBO Max is going to be it. Yeah, HBO Max and AT&T have been doing more than Warner Brothers to like market and show support for Zack Snyder's Justice League. And then I also love what is it, TNT? they're always posting stuff about like Zack Snyder, Man of Steel, BVS. Always, like, they're so cool that they're always like, almost every day I see something about like TNT posting stuff about it. It's so cool. All right, like here's one from AT&T. I gotta share the screen again. A few days ago, people were sharing stuff that they were like liking or replying to about the Snyder Cut. They liked this one about Restore the Snyderverse. And then where, oh wait, let me go back. Oh, it's probably gonna go back to the top of my profile. Oh no, it didn't. Okay. Where's the other one? This one right here. Hope our second meeting goes better than the last one. So oh, I mean, at least it's honest, you know. Oh, here's another one. Thank you. Release the Snyder Cut, fam. Stay super. Where's, I think I scrolled past it. When the one that they said they're bringing the justice. Where is it? Oh yeah, right here. We're on the way and plan to bring the justice. So they're on it. Like, they see what people, you know, are talking about. They see that people are excited and hyped up about it. So I'm glad they're showing support for it. I really am. But okay, kind of got off topic. We're going to go to WandaVision. So let's get into WandaVision. I haven't talked about it on my channel yet, but I have been watching the episodes. So for WandaVision, I have to say it's a good show. The comedy is very forced and cheesy, unlike the 40s, 50s, 60s sitcom comedy where it was natural and actually funny. Well, I mean, okay. About WandaVision, I will say the first two episodes were a little bit hard for me to sit through and watch. Not in that it was like bad, it was just kind of like, I don't know, it didn't do much for me the first two episodes. I know where they're going with it. I understand that it's like, you know, they're not actually trying to portray them in this way of having, like being in an old sitcom setting. It's, there's obviously something else going on. And, Wanda is like, there's something going on, right? Like they're in some kind of like simulated reality or something. Um, but now that I've seen the third episode, today, what's up? What's up? Uh, it's starting to get there. It's getting there. I do kind of like that. Like each episode is a little bit like different decade in a sitcom. I will say that they got down the like the way it looks. Like it looks like it's actually set in that time, those time periods. So I do like that. Um, but I mean, it is very different. It is definitely very different from like other Marvel shows or like the movies. Obviously, I love WandaVision. Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen were born to play the roles of Wanda and Vision. I do like them too. And when what happened with Vision in Endgame, spoiler alert, he died. Um, I was sad because I really liked like when he was introduced in Ultron, when they shown him, being created. It was cool, and I liked him. We kind of got to see some of his powers, and like, you know, we didn't really get that much of him though the rest of the movies until he died. Like they didn't show it that much, like how powerful he is, or you know, and then he just died. Like in Endgame, we didn't really get to see him do anything before he died. Not much. So I kind of want, now that they have a show. I mean, obviously it's different because, like I said, Wanda is clearly having, there's something going on, obviously, that we're not completely aware of yet. At the end of each episode, it's kind of like they give you a little clue that's going to keep building up until we know what's really going on and how this is happening, and like why certain things Wanda can kind of control. Like certain parts she kind of replays and they happen again, or she'll kind of get stuck in a moment and she can't get out of that moment. And if you've seen it, it makes more sense. But um, it's starting to get to more where like it keeps you interested to know what's really going on. And like, we see Wanda being reached out to through like the TV or the radio. Someone's trying to get her attention, but she's like not snapping out of it. So my theory is that she's kind of seeing what she wants and she's not like letting go of it. That's why she can't come back to the real reality. She's like in this virtual simulated reality. That's what I think. I did like how they when like stuff started changing from black and white to color. I liked that. So third episode, it was like the best for me so far. Some of the stuff is kind of hard to through because it is kind of cheesy and like cringy. But again, you know, they're supposed to be in like 40s, 50s, 60s, I wouldn't say 40s, probably like 50s, 60s, 70s sitcoms. And yeah, I mean, it is kind of a little bit it does probably seem a little bit forced because they're just trying to attempt that. It's not actually like, yeah, it was more natural in those days because that's how they made TV. But like I said, with like the theme songs and the style of it, how it was in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, like I think they pretty much nailed that. The way it looks, the way people are acting in it, the theme song, like I said, like they pretty much got that down. DC fans are awesome patience levels, and yeah, we have been waiting a long time. Um, So overall, it is very different WandaVision, but it is keeping me, wondering like what's really happening to Wanda, and I do want to see where this goes. Like, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna spoil exactly what happened at the end of this episode because it just came out today. But there's clearly something going on where Wanda, you know, this is not actually what we see is not actually what's happening. Oh, I think I just put that one. Sorry. Um, so general thoughts. The third episode, it's getting there. It's kind of picking up this speed a little bit. Not much happens the first two episodes, but they're kind of building up. Okay, off the topic. You think we see a modern Green Lantern in the final battle? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. In the final battle, I guess it's possible, but I'd be kind of surprised if that happens, though. I think. I gotta say, DC and Snyder fans are always shy, and you barely see them in the comment section when the Snyderverse is getting hated on for no reason. Well, I mean, I guess some people just don't want to, like, I choose not to argue with people, so maybe that's part of it. I think we will see Darkseid at the end when he see the Justice League in the boom tube and nightmare scenes when Cyborg touches the mother box. Yes, definitely the end in the boom tube, but that's another. I mean, that's an interesting point I didn't think about. The nightmare scene when, because yes, Cyborg is gonna have a nightmare vision, so that's interesting to think about. Um, that is interesting to think about. Oh, I didn't even know that. Dawson sent me message on Twitter. Let me get him a link. I didn't even know that he was going to be able to join. I feel really bad. He messaged me a long time ago. Yeah, that is. I didn't think about that. There obviously Cyborg's going to have a nightmare vision, and there will be more nightmare scenes. But I didn't think about that. We could possibly see um, Darkseid there. Hopefully that's the case. Yeah, definitely Wonder Woman chopping off Steppenwolf's head is going to be um, definitely radar material. It's interesting. It's funny to me that they kept the shot of her like coming down with her sword, but then they changed it to she just she just chops his axe in half. Like she could have done that a long time ago if that's how they were going to defeat him. You know, I mean, besides Superman, she was the only one who could, before he came back and was able to help them. She was the only one who could have really gone up against him, So they could have just had, you know, they could have just had her chop his axe a long time ago if that's how they were going to defeat him. Which is stupid. They used um the same shot. They should just put that Diana picture in the Flashpoint movie. That would be cool if they use it somehow. That Diana, that picture is crazy. Vision looks more confused in WandaVision, maybe because spoiler from Infinity War. More confused? Do you mean like just about like just in general? Yeah, maybe. TNT sim for Jack like for Zach like we do. They do. They are super like. I mean, they're always posting stuff about him. It's so cool. I know it's not really a spoiler. I'm just being sarcastic. I'm scared for the Amazons of Zack Snyder Justice League because Steppenwolf is going to be hacking them in half, and I'm scared for those Atlanteans as well. Yes, no joke. Like, yeah. I mean, Zack did say that he is going to be hacking people in half. Like, he has a massive axe. And I had said one time before that in the theatrical version, when he's in Themyscira, he they showed him kind of like swinging his axe at an Amazon on the horse, but they cut and she kind of just flies off the horse. I don't think that's realistic for how Zach's gonna. He's gonna be a lot more violent. All right. So I feel really bad because I didn't know Dawson, Nerdy Anyway, sent me a message like 45 minutes ago on Twitter. I had no idea. I just randomly checked my messages and he is able to join us now. So I want to bring in Dawson. I'm so sorry, Dawson.
It's all good. It's gonna be here. How you doing?
Hold on. I can't hear you yet.
Oh.
Let me see if I can hear you. Hold on a second. Hold on just a second. I'm not going to be able to hear you yet. Hold on. Quick second. Give me a second. Let me see. I don't know if I can. Okay. Hold on just a second. Let me change my. Give me a quick second. I got to get some other headphones.
All right, you're all good. I'll say hi to Flash. How's it going, Flash? Jacob Ludi, how's it going, man? Good to have you. I'm taking over, apparently. Let's see here. Yeah, it's good to see you, Jacob. Jacob, you've been wait, no, it wasn't you, it was Jack. But Jacob, I saw an article. I can't remember what outlet posted, but they talked about George Clooney's Batman, which I thought would be kind of funny to mention to you. What's up, Chernobyl fan? How's it going? I appreciate you subbing. That's very much appreciated. Thank you so much. Anthony, how's it going, Anthony Strader? Good to have you.
All right. Here we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, did my camera freeze? Because I'm sitting down. And I think my camera froze. Let me try. Okay, there we go. All right. Sorry, I rushed and I was like, come on, my headphones.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. How you doing, Dawson?
I'm doing pretty good. And don't worry about I figured like whenever you get on a stream, like it's kind of hard to see messages and stuff. So I just kind of figured that happened. So it was all good.
And then I have my phone on silent right here, so it's not like or making loud noises if it goes off.
Yeah.
And I'm like switching between screens, and I was like, I just decided to check the chat for some reason, and I got your message. So I'm really
sorry. It's all good. No problem at all. No grudges being held here.
For joining the conversation.
Yeah.
So we're just talking about Wandavision. Yeah. Have you been watching? You've been watching it, right?
Yeah, I've been watching and posting reviews about it. I didn't join Nicotina's late night watch party last night just because I was not ready to get up at 3 a.m. to watch that. Definitely not. I tried. I literally got up at 2:30 to watch with him, and then I just couldn't. Yeah. My brain was just dead.
That's tough. Yeah. But you've seen all three. So I haven't gotten really too much into like specific spoilers, but just like kind of overall general thoughts on the show.
Yeah. So I mean, so far, this is the show that I was really hesitant about. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really sure what to think, and after all the trailers, like there was nothing that screamed to me, you should watch this right away. But because I'm a content creator, I obviously decided to watch it anyway. But so far, I think it's not a banging show. Like, it's not one of those shows that grabs people and reels them in there forcefully. Mm-hmm. It's one of those shows that just kind of gives you breadcrumbs here and there to make you think like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting. Let's keep seeing what happens. And I think they knew that was the kind of show they had in their hands, and that's why I think they released the first 2 episodes like they did, and then just the third one by itself. It's actually pretty smart how they did it, actually. So anyway, it's interesting so far.
Yeah, I kind of had similar like feelings before it came out, and now that it's out.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like super like jazzed about it, like, oh my god, I can't wait for this show to come out. But I was like, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
You know? So I wasn't like extremely excited about it, but I was like, I know I'm gonna watch it, and I'll see, where they're going with it. But like, I think breadcrumbs is a good term to use for how they're like just a little bit here and there, like at the end of the episode, you get a little bit like another little clue into what's really going on.
Yeah.
So I think now that the third episode, like the first two episodes were for me, were a little bit like, eh, like I was
They
kind of
were
like,
slow.
okay, yeah, they were slow. I was kind of like, okay, it's, but I guess since it is a series, like they kind of want to give a little, like, lead up to it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But the third episode for me was, I think, like, okay, now we're kind of getting there.
Yeah, we're kind of getting our feet underneath us. We're getting to what's really going to draw people in and the most intriguing part of the show. And I've been kind of talking with a couple different people today about the show, and I think we've talked before on the stream too with you when we had the Four Nerds on. And this is one of those shows I think it's only going to have one season, because I think the entire show is going to lead up to one big reveal at the end, and then it just leads into the rest of the MCU. So I think it's just simply a show of lead-ins to something else, which is exciting, but it means that it's not one of those where you can just simply watch one episode and be like, all right, cool, I'm done for the day.
Right. Yeah. I didn't think about it like that. I didn't think of it's just going to be one season, but I guess it would kind of make sense. But it might be a little bit difficult to like keep it going.
Yeah, especially with the whole mystery part of the show. Like that's its main draw, is what's actually happening behind the scenes. And once that's revealed, then it's just like, where exactly do you go from there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what's kind of keeping me interested too, is that like I want to know what's really going on with, like, obviously something's going on with Wanda, or like this is like a simulated reality, or like something is, she's not actually living in this sitcom.
Right.
Or like these different decades of sitcoms. But I was saying I do like kind of how I like the, like, they pretty, I mean, it's it's not actually like a 50s, 60s, or 70s sitcom, but like I think they did a good job on like making it look that way. Like they do look like those old sitcoms, even though we know it's kind of like over the top because it's not really happening.
Yeah. No, I agree. They did a good job duplicating that style, especially like with the first two episodes when Wanda's using her magic, and they're obviously using like wire work to make the plates float and everything, using the old-fashioned techniques. I did like that quite a bit. And also my wife's a huge sitcom fan, so anything that has to do with anything sitcom or that kind of style, she's a sucker for. So I will watch the episodes late at night with Andre, and then the next day I'll like hear my wife like laughing in a room somewhere, and it's like, you're watching WandaVision, aren't you? And she's like, yes. So yeah, it's interesting how they've been able to replicate that. But and I don't know if we're talking spoilers here. Are we?
I haven't so far, but I guess we can.
Okay, I just wanted to mention one thing about it. So like a vague spoiler for people. So like, just like at the end of this third episode, it kind of correlates to what you're talking about with Wanda or somebody else putting her through this whole imaginary thing. If you notice at the end of the episode, there was these like towers that kind of look like light poles at football fields, you know what I mean? That were emitting this like energy that looks kind of static. So I think it might be a combination of her knowing that she's in a created world of her own, like of somebody else's creation, but somebody else trapping her there as well. I think two of those things can be true at once. So
let's see. Vision knows he died in Infinity War, but living in alternate reality. So his consciousness is trapped and he's confused about it. Also, Wanda is confused right now that she is trapped. Yeah, you can tell sometimes that like they kind of realize that something is weird or like something's off.
Yeah.
And then also like sometimes Wanda will kind of like something will happen again that just happened. Like it'll replay, I guess you would say.
Yeah, like in this last episode. Yeah, like this last episode where Vision's all of a sudden starting to talk about like how he thinks things are wrong here, then it just kind of quickly rewinds and he's like, oh, everything's fine. You know, like those moments. And I think Wanda knows more than we're shown that she knows. Cause like in the first episode when the woman at the dinner party just keeps telling her like, stop it, she gets a serious face, tells Vision to help the guy. And then at the end of that second episode, she goes outside and the beekeeper guy comes out of the manhole, and then she just says no, and then reverts back to the happy moment that they have. What's up, McLovin? And again, suggesting that she at least is somewhat aware, like compare it to a lucid dreamer, right? Someone who kind of understands they're dreaming, but is in the dream anyway.
Yes. Yeah. I did think that was interesting too. That like she's almost controlling it in a way.
Yeah.
Um, but then like the part like you were talking about where the guy is choking on his food,
Mm.
and it just keeps like going on and on and on. Nothing's happening.
Mm.
I couldn't tell if she was like stuck there, and she was I don't know if she was like trying to figure out what was happening or she knew something. I don't know, but I was like, oh okay, that's the first time that was kind of like the first thing we got about like this is like a weird reality or something is being
Mm.
you know um what's the word I'm looking for, um like she's seeing it but it's not really her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes
But
sense.
let's see. I thought there was another comment I was going to click on, but I might have lost it. Someone said that they think that she's being tracked by a villain.
Well, with the emphasis on sword at the moment, yeah, you see like the sword logo everywhere, and so that definitely could be the
Yeah.
thing behind it. But the thing is that what's her name, Geraldine, the
Mm-hmm.
girl who Wanda gets all mad at in the third episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wears that symbol,
Yeah.
and she obviously knows what's going on, and obviously the other people in the town know something's up with her because they said like she doesn't live anywhere, and so she's obviously some kind of infiltrator to a certain extent.
She's
Maybe she
there for
was,
a reason. Yeah.
yeah, maybe she's either a part of the program or she was trying to get her out, and that's why she mentioned Pietro.
Yeah.
Um,
But he died.
yeah, which
Yeah.
is interesting that she decided to use her brother, who's dead, to try
Mhm.
to
I
get
know.
something out of her.
Yeah.
It's like you do realize that would piss her off, right?
Yeah. Well, she just had twins, didn't she?
Yeah, only a
And
little bit of a touchy subject.
yeah, I think that was where my husband had watched it first, and then he was like, "You should watch it. The ending is good." And I was like, oh, "Okay." So I was kind of like expecting something a little bit more interesting to happen
Hmm.
towards the end, and when she started talking about her brother, I was like, "Oh, okay." Like now they're really starting to show. That's what's keeping me interested.
Yeah,
Is the
yeah,
and then just lost my thought. When Vision was out there talking to the neighbors, and he was like, "We're all," and he was going to tell him, but that the Agnes stopped him from saying
yeah.
what is really going on.
It wasn't just me,
So
or did that part of did that sequence kind of last a little long? Like it's like we're all
yeah,
here, and it's
yeah,
like, okay, spit it out or don't, Junior.
I
Okay,
know. I was kind of thinking the same thing.
I'm just like, please, just say it. Just that was my big thing. But that
And
was my nitpicky moment of that episode.
in Wanda's mind, she's kind of like, "Oh, we're keeping this secret, and like no one around us knows
Hmm.
what we really are, or like But apparently, that's not the case.
Right. Obviously, there's somebody that or people out there that know what's going down, and someone
Yeah.
even mentioned in the comics that they thought, what's her face? Who was that lady? I can't scroll down in the comments. Um, gosh, there's some lady. I think that lady with the black hair who was featured in the first 3 episodes. Um,
Oh, her real name or her character
yeah,
name?
character
Agnes.
name.
Agnes.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
were thinking at first that she was like the main villain, but like, yeah, I agree with whoever commented down below that
Okay.
that maybe it's not the case. That maybe she's just simply a
Yeah.
part of what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's a puzzle. It's really what it
It
is.
is.
It's a puzzle.
Yeah, it is, and it is really different from Marvel what they usually do.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling people is like if there's people out there that are hardcore Marvel or MCU fans, they
Yeah.
I don't want to say they'll be disappointed, but it'll be jarring for them to jump into
Yeah.
this because
Yeah.
it's very, very different.
Yeah, I agree. And usually, like, I mean, the other Marvel shows were not like this either. Like, they were just more, what you
Right.
expect for a comic book series to be.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know if maybe they just wanted to figure out a way to, since Vision's character did die,
Hmm.
it's kind of a way to have him in a show without it, like, just being like, oh, well, we just decided to make a show even though he died.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
that's
there's something else behind it.
what I think is I think this is a way for them to weasel back getting Vision to be alive in the MCU.
Okay.
I think that's a big focus of this show because, like, for example, there's the stork in episode 3 that comes to life from the wall, and that's because of Wanda's powers. And she brought that to life simply because of a drawing, an idea. And Wanda, of course, has Vision in her mind and in her heart, you can even say, if you want to go with that direction. But so she can bring ideas of that nature to life and manifest them to a certain extent. And so I think they're going to use that to bring Vision back, and he's going to be actually alive at the end of the show. And he can just be a more utilized character throughout the rest of the MCU. Because I think that was a big problem with a lot of people in the MCU is how fast they killed off Vision.
That's what I was talking about before you came on.
Well,
yeah.
There you go.
That I was like, I really liked when they introduced him.
Yeah.
Like, him being brought to life, and like it was really cool.
And Paul Bettany is the best person for that role.
Yeah, and we didn't get to see too much of him being like this cool, this really interesting, powerful character before he died.
Right.
Even before he died, that whole movie, he didn't really get to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, in Infinity War, he was just like hiding with Wanda, and then he had his altercation with Thanos, and then he was done.
Yeah, so. And even in the beginning, when Thanos is, well, I guess they're called children. When they go to like attack them, he wasn't able to do anything even at that moment. Like he wasn't able to, they didn't have, he couldn't protect them in any way. Like they didn't get to show him really doing anything before he died. So
yeah,
maybe
that's a good point.
Maybe it is a way of like being able to.
They're like, we're sorry, fans of Vision. Let's correct our mistake.
Nicotina said their 2 kids will live on and later join the Young Avengers.
That's probably what's going to happen.
But since it's probably not actually happening, are they actually going to have kids?
I think so, because again, it all comes down to Wanda's powers and her capabilities, and if she can manifest Vision back to life, then who's to say she can't manifest those babies into her womb and give birth to them? I mean,
Yeah. And it is interesting that like you see someone's trying to like reach out to her.
Yeah.
The radio, and like she's kind of trying to someone's trying to like pull her out of it.
Yeah, like the guy on the radio in episode 2, right?
I think it's the second one, yeah.
Yeah, where he's like, "Who's doing this to you?" Like, right. So like again gives a sense that at least this is something that's being pushed upon her. So definitely is interesting.
Yeah, I hope the babies are actually real.
Yeah, only be a little sad. And yeah, Nicotina Show said this happened in the House of M series and the kids lived. Well, there you go. Okay. That's one of those stories that I'm not versed in the House of M. So
yeah, I don't know about that one either. The trailers made Agnes look like the villain. I don't really remember. I don't remember.
They kind of did. There was the one where Vision sees her in a car and he's like, and she tells him that he's dead. And then she kind of laughs maniacally a little bit. But then again, that's kind of how that person laughs, that actress laughs.
Yeah.
So like, which is kind of mean to say, but it's pretty true.
Yeah, she has a style, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
I think the closest thing I could compare to Wandavision was the LMD arc of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4. I never watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Neither did I.
Neither did I. Yeah, I wasn't too into that, but again, it is definitely different. Let's see, Wanda's character arc has faced so much in her life, obviously after Thor, but still she is not a god to live 1,000 years. So her life, yeah, I don't know. I mean, she is super powerful. Like,
yes.
The way they I think she could have beat Thanos by herself.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's probably my favorite line of Endgame is like where she says, "You took everything from me," and he's like, "I don't even know who you are."
Yeah, she is super powerful. So I think maybe like when you were talking about, some of the Marvel fans might be like, well, like you said, kind of like shocked by it in a way, like, oh, this is different, you know?
Yeah.
Because it was actually, oh, okay. that we're not really seeing that. Like you said, when they show their powers being used, it's kind of like the old style TV where it's like
Mhm.
cheesy, you know, like stuff's all wobbly and like floating around, and it's not really how we're used to seeing them use their powers. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not the kind of show where it's like these are the characters and this is, it's not like Smallville, or it's not that kind of show where you're actually seeing their powers being used. It's being shown
Right.
through a different. It's like
Yeah.
within an old sitcom, which I can
Yeah.
understand why people are not like. They might not. I can understand why people might not like it.
Yeah, I can understand that too, because again, it starts out really slow. It's still kind of slow.
Yeah.
Um, again, I'm interested to hear how the general audience feels about this show. Like just people who didn't grow up on sitcoms, people who didn't grow up on shows like Bewitched or That
Mhm.
70s Show or things of that nature,
Yeah.
and see what they think. Because the general audience has been very happy with the kind of formula that the
Of
MCU has
Marvel.
had,
Right.
and how they've had like action packed, a lot of CGI fight scenes and things like that, and just all the different things they have in all those Marvel movies. And then seeing this again, I mentioned the whole jarring aspect of this different type
Yeah.
of show, but
Yep. I kind of wonder that too, like just people who have Disney Plus, but they're maybe not like,
yeah.
keeping up with everything that Marvel does, or they're just kind of looking for something to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I
The
wonder too.
the big
I know.
benefit that it has is the fact that it's the only thing Marvel on Disney Plus right now. It's the huge benefit that it has. There's no competition within itself.
Yeah, there's not anything like newer from them. I mean, well, do you think that they'll end up doing Black Widow on there?
Well, who knows at this point? I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, we've been waiting for that thing for so long, and then they push it back again, along with James Bond and gosh, what else was pushed back yesterday? I feel like 7 movies were pushed back.
Morbius was pushed back. I was talking about that
Mhm.
earlier.
Yeah.
All the way to like a year from now,
Oh my gosh.
January of next year.
Oh, it's January? I thought it was October.
Well, it was, but now it's pushed back again to January.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Goodness
I know it's
gracious.
sad. It's so long, like, and it's probably when I don't even know. Was it originally supposed to be the summer of this year, and then it got pushed back to October?
I think so. I want to say.
Yeah. See, look, January 21st, 2022.
Oh, you're kidding me. Yeah, literally a year from now.
Yeah.
And they already put out a trailer for it. This is going to have so much fatigue. Goodness gracious.
I mean, right now we've only got like one trailer, but still, it was a long time ago.
Right. I mean, man,
Yeah.
that's the one thing that sucks about the movie business right now is a lot of these people put out trailers and then they're like, "Oh crap, got to push it back."
Yeah, I know, and I'm like, I'm interested in that one too. Like, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to that one, and hearing some of the score from it, like that really got me interested too. And I didn't
Yeah.
think it'd be pushed back. If it did get pushed back again, I didn't think it'd be like till next year.
Yeah. That long. Goodness. I mean,
Yeah.
how long do they expect to not be able to be in theaters for? That's what scares me. It's like, do you really think it's going to be another year? Freak.
Well, I think also too, like they probably want to be able to have like packed out, maybe not packed out, but like not so limited on capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Like more people can go to a showing, but
They want it to where it's like they have utmost confidence in theaters again, which
yeah,
makes financial sense. But at the same time, like fans are sitting here like, dude, we're getting the Snyder Cut on HBO Max. You can put out Morbius on something else. Like, it's not a big problem.
I know. Nicotina said, I like how this series makes the audience have to pay attention and think about what is happening the whole way through. Yeah, I guess that could be, like you said, something about the general audience too. Like they might, because I'm sure for a general audience person, they might be able to, I mean, you'd probably catch on to like, okay, this is not really supposed to be
Mm,
just, a new series that's set in the 50s or 60s sitcom style. Like there's
right.
something else strange about it. So I guess
Yeah.
it could get people interested in that way.
Stranger
yeah.
things are happening.
Yeah. But yeah, Morbius got pushed back. Like you said, No Time to Die got pushed back till October. That one's been pushed back a lot too.
Daniel
And
Craig's gonna be 60 years old by the time the movie comes out.
they're gonna
Golly.
they're gonna be casting a new actor for his role.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Yeah.
Henry Cavill.
I'd be down for that. I mean, he'd be a really good James Bond.
Yeah, for sure. I could totally see him, especially after seeing him in Man from Uncle.
Yeah.
I could
Goodness
totally see him
gracious.
as that kind of character for sure.
Yeah. He'd pull it off really well. He'd be intimidating. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he could do it. Dawson, have you seen the Superman and Lois trailer?
I
We were talking
have.
about that earlier too.
Yeah, I
What's
have seen that. It's better than the tease we got before. It's
right?
much better because the
Mhm.
tease we got at first was very cheap looking.
Yeah,
I was not looking forward to it. It's another one of those shows that's still not screaming at me, watch me now, just because like I'm kind of with you on the CW. I don't watch a whole lot of it. I watched the first 2 seasons of Arrow. I watched a little bit of the first season of The Flash. And it's just like, I don't know. I haven't gotten too much into it, but this does look interesting. The cinematography looks pretty dang good for a CW show. And again, I think someone else was mentioning earlier, they actually look like they have a budget.
yes,
Like they actually look like they have some money to spend on
yeah.
making a show for the first time ever. Um,
Maybe because some
so
other shows were done.
yeah,
Well, Supergirl's done, Arrow's done.
yeah, yeah.
So
And I do like the suit better than it
really,
was before. You can
yeah.
definitely tell it's padded a little bit, kind of like Shazam. But I don't know. It should be interesting. I do like some of the vibes I'm getting from it. I think the house is very similar to the Man of Steel house, like
My husband said the
extremely
same.
similar.
Yeah, I know. My husband said the same thing. He was like, "That looks just like the house in Man of Steel," and
They probably use the same set. I wouldn't be
uh,
surprised.
I I had mixed feelings about it, just because. Well, yes, on one hand, like I was saying earlier, it looks better to me than I expected it to look.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of. I haven't been a huge fan as of yet of Hoagland's Superman.
Yeah, me neither. I
He's
mean,
very watered down. He was not very interesting. Like they didn't really show him doing anything like exciting as
no.
Superman.
Right. And
And
not to be mean, but like he just doesn't
look,
look like Superman to me.
yes,
That's just me anyway.
yeah. Like when they announced that he was being cast as Superman, I was like, I don't see it,
Yeah.
you know. But I was like, okay, like I don't really have a problem with him as like an actor, but I just didn't
Yeah.
picture him as like he wouldn't be a person I would think of to play Superman.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. But I mean, I'm open for him to change my mind with the show. I'll give
Yeah,
it a chance.
I'm open minded to that if they kind of level up how they're going to portray him.
Hmm.
Like he's not just going to be like useless all the time. He was super useless in my opinion in a lot of like the crossover episodes, and
Yeah.
because after a while I stopped watching like all the seasons of the shows. I would just watch like the crossovers,
Hmm.
and then I kind of went back and caught up on like the Flash, but he would never do like Superman stuff.
Well, they wanted to boost or bolster up Supergirl a lot, and so they couldn't have Superman overshadow her, which is only a little frustrating because like you can have both be super powerful and exciting at the same time. But
Yeah, and I've seen I've seen a lot of people like they have the same saying the same thing about that. Like they didn't want to take away from Supergirl,
mm,
but it kind of was like it didn't give. If I didn't know that first that they were going to have like a Superman series, so it didn't really get me excited for him to have a Superman series.
right. The
You
thing
know?
is, it takes the problem with that is that it takes a lot of creative or writing intelligence in order to make them both look good, which as of late, I mean, let's be honest, too, the CW hasn't shown that writing intelligence for the most part. So,
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, like I said, the trailer. I mean, it surprised me, but then my problem with it was that since it is so Man of Steel esque, I was like, they didn't support Zach in that. You know, they when he got backlash for having a darker tone and like certain color grading, and you know, even the music is a little bit similar. Like
mm,
all the stuff that he got backlash on for that stuff, the studio was like, okay, we'll change it. Don't worry, you know.
yeah,
But then now on the CW, they're like, okay, we'll give you like a Walmart version of that.
yeah,
That makes me mad.
yeah. It's just like I wonder how many DC fans are going to complain about that. But I mean, it doesn't have Zack Snyder's fan or Zack Snyder's name on there, so there's going to be less people complaining about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think it's going to be a bad show. Like I'm not saying
No,
it's going to be a bad show, but like I wish they would have if they would have been more supportive of like the way Zach started off the universe, and we're just like, this is what we're doing, and if people don't, we have a fan base for it, and that's the way we're gonna go. If they would have just been supportive of that, all the way through, then it would have been like, cool, this is like, wow, they're actually using that as inspiration too for their series, like
Yeah.
But since they're kind of like, oh no, we don't want Zach to do it, but we're gonna do it on a TV show, that makes me kind of upset.
Yeah. It's like double standards much?
Yeah. I know. Were you guys fans of Smallville? Yes.
Yeah. I haven't watched it in a while, but it's a dang good show.
Yeah. The last time I watched the whole season was a few years ago. I watched the whole season, and yeah, I really liked it. I liked Tom Welling. I thought even going back and watching it a few years ago, there's a lot of similarities to me with Man of Steel and Smallville.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. The only thing that I wasn't a huge fan of was the Flash in Smallville when he first came in, and Rascal Flatts starts playing, and out of nowhere, and I'm just like, hold on, I like Rascal Flatts, but this does not fit in here.
Yeah, it is older shows, so some of it, if you watch it now, it's kind of like,
but doesn't age well, right?
Yeah, but some things are still they did it better than some of the current shows too.
Yeah,
in certain ways. I mean, Lex was great. Michael Rosenbaum, I thought, was a really good Lex.
Yeah,
Lex
I agree.
I like that he had challenges and that he was, he didn't just have this perfect life, kind of like what they wanted to do with, Man of Steel. That he didn't have a perfect life, even though he had superpowers, and that he was angry a lot of the time.
He struggled just like most normal day every person does.
Yeah.
I mean, you can name so many things from Smallville that Man of Steel took, and people loved it in Smallville. Yeah. But
I talked about that on my channel too, and I'm like, so many people like Smallville, and then they do similar things in Man of Steel, and people are like, no, this is too dark.
How dare you?
Yeah.
But how dare you give Superman negative emotions? Yeah. How dare you make him scared?
Yeah, he's not smiling the whole movie. Like Tom Welling wore the suit. I know that was one thing that I was hoping for when they said he was going to be in the crossover. I was hoping that they would show him in a cool new suit, because we only saw him really quick, the last episode of the whole series.
Right.
Finally flying, and so I was hoping that they would have shown him in a suit in the crossover in the CW, but
unfortunately, he'll forever be known as the Superman that barely wore the Superman suit ever.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Smallville was supposed to show him, kind of growing up and kind of, just using his powers anonymously and stuff like that, which I get. But since they brought him back for the crossover, I was like, cool. We're gonna see him in a new suit, but now he gave up his powers apparently.
Yeah, I saw a theory about that actually. That kind of tied to a couple episodes of Smallville, where if you notice, he's wearing a watch in that scene, and it looks a little. Is it the blue kryptonite that takes away powers?
It's one of them, yeah. But they would
I think it's I think it's the blue kryptonite, and I think his watch was blue, and so that might be the way that he did it was.
To, not use his powers. I mean, he was so strong, abnormally strong in that scene. But apparently,
well, he was also chopping a lot of wood, so.
Yeah. But he did something. What did he do? Because he was trying to intimidate Lex, which I can't believe they cast him as Lex. But
yeah, it's
some of their casting choices. I guess I wasn't. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Lex Luthor with a goatee just doesn't quite suit my fancy for Lex Luthor very much. I'm fine with Eisenberg with the whole long hair and stuff, because that's more comic accurate with some stories. But this guy with a freaking goatee, I'm just like, what? This guy looks like he owns a pizza restaurant, not owns an entire industry.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve did make an appearance on this show, which is cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I'm in this pool by myself, but I loved Gotham probably for the same reason I enjoyed Smallville. It had a really good. Gotham was pretty good, but then I kind of stopped watching it. But it was a good show.
I watched it all the way through. I liked a lot of things from it. I think, obviously, my favorite part of it was the Riddler. I can't remember the actor's name, but he was dang good.
He was super Riddler, like he had that look and everything, like he was
Yeah.
like creepy in a way.
Like
Yeah,
how he lost his mind and
yeah,
like his slow fall into madness was just fantastic.
yeah. I really liked that too.
Plus, I also like the actor for James Gordon because I have a good friend who, when his hair's cut short, he looks just like him. Like it's scary how identical it looks.
Corey Michael
And
Smith is his name, his real name.
oh, for Riddler, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
such a
yeah.
great job.
I
And the
was,
Penguin, they made the Penguin scary.
yeah, he was really good too. Robin Lord Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, he
He
freaking
was,
was cutting people's throats.
yeah. I really liked him too. I thought they did a really good job on that show. It's like, um, it was also interesting. Well, I guess it was. I mean, it's supposed to be Gotham, so it made sense. But like for a while when I first started watching it, I was like, is this like present day? Because
Yeah,
there's certain stuff about it that makes it like you don't know. Like they kind of mix.
they made it timeless in a way.
Yes, like sometimes they have cell phones, but then at the same time, it's like some of the cars are like older. Some of the
Yeah,
technology or like furniture, like just props or whatever. Like it looks like you don't know what like time period it would take place in.
exactly. I think that was another thing with the Batman animated series too, is that it had a lot of futuristic stuff, but also had a lot of like 50s retro things. And that's one thing that people always try to do with Batman is make him timeless with those aspects. And I think the thing with Gotham that threw a lot of people off was the entire season that was surrounded around like resurrecting evil villains, like left and
Yeah.
right. Like
Hmm.
that was something that a lot of people just didn't like. I was okay with it. I mean, it was definitely a MacGuffin they could use to bring popular characters back for sure, but I didn't mind it too much. The thing that bothers me the most, and I think this is the thing with a lot of people that are fans of Gotham, was the bat suit they had at the very end. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, whatever the studio was it CW? Was it CW that also made Gotham as
It was
well?
um was it Fox? No.
Ah, that's right, Fox at first. Yeah,
Was it?
yeah. I'm sorry, Fox, but I could make a better bat suit than that with $200 worth of equipment. I'm sorry, that was you build
Yeah,
up for
they
3 seasons, and then you get a bat cowl that looks like it's made of plastic or paper bags.
yeah, they dropped the ball on like finally seeing a suit.
Yeah. Like
Even
I
though
was watching that final scene and they showed bat signal or a signal would be the bat signal. I was like,
right.
okay, cool. It's a good tease. And it zooms in on a Batman and it cuts to black. And I'm just like, what? Like, what? You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Golly. Like, I get I was only going to make a couple seconds of appearance, but at the same time, like, have a little pride.
Yeah, and it's like people are looking forward to it and they're like,
Yeah.
excited about it. Yeah. They could have done Bob's choice of the Joker was surprising. Yeah, it was interesting. He was a lot younger. Well, I guess it made sense for them to be younger because
Yeah.
Bruce was young.
The actor for that, he's the same actor who did the Jedi Fallen Order game. He was phenomenal. Like, so
The
dang good.
Bruce.
No, the guy who played Joker.
Oh, Joker. Yeah.
Yeah,
How do you say his name?
Monahan. Yeah, or
Yeah.
Monaghan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He plays. Yeah, he did a good job in like being kind of like a crazy psycho.
Oh yeah, he played two different versions of the Joker, which was very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that they could never actually call him the Joker just because like
Yeah.
rights and stuff.
Because it wasn't like a Warner. It wasn't. I get. Well, yeah, it was Fox. So
Yeah,
they kind of just had to like do what they could.
they just called him Jeremiah or Jerome or Mr. J. Like they threw in J in there as much as possible, and
Like you know who he is.
yeah, it's like just say it. Just say it at this point. Screw the lawsuit. Just do it.
It was kind of strange though how they made Barbara Gordon like. Well, I guess she was Harley Quinn basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, she's insane.
She was a psychiatrist who lost it and just kind of went off the deep end. But
Yeah.
I wonder why they made it. I don't know why they made Barbara Gordon be her.
I mean, she was like, they didn't quite go too full blown Harley Quinn with her, but they made her pretty crazy, like mob boss, killer,
Right.
like. And then they had Leslie Tompkins be James Gordon's wife, but at the same time, like, what's her face? She's also married to the actor for James Gordon in real life.
Yeah, they're married.
Yeah, so we probably knew at some point they're like, all right, we got to have our characters come together at the end. So that's got to be in the contract, even though that's not who James Gordon is married to in the comics. But I mean, we'll let that slide.
Yeah. But yeah, Riddler was. I knew there was something about him like early on. I was like, he's kind of, he's a little strange.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little out there, And I was, my husband were watching. I remember we were watching an episode and we were like, we kind of were getting the feeling that he was eventually going to be like a significant character.
Yeah.
We were, putting emphasis on him in like a subtle way, and we're like, who is he? Like he's someone,
Yeah.
And then I remember there was like a question mark somewhere around him. He had a question mark on his like coffee mug or something.
Yeah.
He had something. He was holding a question mark, and I was like, he's Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's gonna be eventually.
Funny story about the Riddler. Actually, I was before I watched season 3. I think it was just even before the season came out. I was waiting tables at an Italian restaurant, and we had like an open bar off to the side, and they were like older ladies. They were retired older ladies. Were out in the town like partying with each other, and they're all drunk. Obviously, they all stay way too late. And I was like wiping down the counter, and one lady's come up to me, was like, you look just like the Riddler from Gotham. And I was like, thank you. And they're like, can we take a picture with you? And so they all took a picture of me, all these drunk ladies. And I'm just like, all right, this is happening. Sure, this might as well happen before I close up. Fantastic. So then I went home and told my wife, who was my fiance at the time, and I was like, hey, guess what I just got compared to? And I was like, who's? Like, who? Like, the Riddler. Aren't you happy?
See it, but not in the creepy way that he has. Like,
thank you.
Like, I guess some of like, physically there's features there, but not like in a vibe. Not that, not like in a, not that way.
I appreciate that, because otherwise this would be a really different conversation.
It is kind of funny though that they were familiar with the show.
Yeah,
which surprised that they were familiar with the show.
Yeah, I mean, like 50-year-old ladies. The last people that I expect to be watching a show about Gotham. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah. Okay, are you Team Godzilla or King Kong? Well, I'm not like 100% one way or the other. I just like Kong better as a character.
See, I think of it more as like a fighting matchup. And I
saying earlier in the chat that they think eventually they're going to team up to fight another.
Yeah, they probably will, which is going to be another cop out for a face-off movie. But I do think Godzilla should win, because I mean, again, he has the atomic breath. What can Godzilla do? I mean, not what can King Kong do to combat the atomic breath? Like Godzilla just has to do the atomic breath one time, like hit him in the arm somewhere, and then kill him from there. But like, then again, I'm probably wrong, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing earlier. I was thinking the same thing. Like, physically, it makes sense for Godzilla to win. Like, like you said, what is an ape's going to be? Like, I can't believe how massive they made him.
Yeah.
Like, physically, I mean, he's big and everything, but he can't. What is he supposed to do against, like,
Yeah, because like Godzilla has the atomic breath, but he also has his scaly skin, which is obviously very, very hard to bite through.
Yeah.
So like King Kong's gonna like break his teeth on Godzilla's scales. Like, although I have seen a theory that's actually kind of confirmed by a little clip that was released of Kong versus Godzilla, where like King Kong takes a plate off his back and uses it as an axe or something like that.
Oh.
Like that.
Was it one of these little teasers that we got?
Yeah, it was one of those little teasers.
Like, I did not. I mean, in the first thing we saw of them, like in the and when the HBO Max, like when we got the first little quick like 2-second thing of them like going towards each other, like from a distance you're like, oh well, like they made King Kong super big because Godzilla's huge. But then in these like closer up, these ones that are more close up, like you really see how like big he is.
Yeah.
He's never been that big in a King Kong movie.
No. I mean, you look back at King Kong 2005, which is a very fun movie, actually. I mean, he's the right size where he has to stand on top of the Empire State Building. And And then, like, because I remember when they first pitched the idea of like a King Kong versus Godzilla movie, after, of course, I'd seen the King Kong of 2005, I was just like, how is that going to work? Is he just going to like climb all over Godzilla and like pester him like a mosquito? Like, what's he going to do here?
I don't know why it keeps pausing.
He has fur burns. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point, actually. I mean, he has to touch him once with his atomic breath, and he just catches on fire. Oh, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if that's like a scale from Godzilla's back, or if it's like some weird.
I don't know what I was trying to figure out earlier. I think when I saw it on my phone real quick too, but since it's it's not a whole clip, it's kind of hard to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it looks like it's absorbing all of the atomic breath.
Yeah, like it's not. It's not going through whatever it is.
Yeah. And it also makes you wonder, like, why is Godzilla aiming for that thing? Right. Instead of, King Kong.
Yeah. And it's also, I mean, it's kind of cool too that it's not like red. It's not red and orange like you would think from like, I don't know. I thought it looked more like fire.
Yeah.
But I mean, I expect it to be good. I've never been like a big like Godzilla person.
Neither have I.
But I do like, like the King Kong movies.
Yeah, and these posters just look fantastic. I mean,
yeah, they've done a good job with that.
This new one with Godzilla's spikes coming out of the water. I mean, that's just so reminiscent of all like the monster fighting video games all of us grew up with on the PlayStation 2, and that's gonna be very fun.
Yeah, I do think that they've done a good job with like their posters and like marketing, how it looks and everything. I think it'd be it's going to be one of those movies that people want to see in theaters because of this scale.
Right.
But I guess we'll see, since they moved it up and everything, how it does in theaters. Like, so I guess every time they make a movie like this, they get bigger, but
yeah, because they have to up the ante a little bit.
Yeah.
So are they standing on this helicarrier or like
behind it, or are they on it?
Aircraft carrier?
It's kind of hard to tell. Okay, like right here, it looks like his foot is on there.
Yeah, and King Kong looks like he's on it too.
Like, is it being pushed into the water because they're standing on it? Because
like, if so, that's a massive aircraft carrier.
See, that was like the first time we saw really how big they made Kong, but then now in these close-up ones, like showing him next to like a person, like putting his finger up to him, like he is ridiculous. Like he would not be able to go on top of the Empire State Building like that.
Yeah.
Like it's totally like in the old movies he's big, but
this is like he sees the Empire State Building now and he's just like flicks it and it falls over.
Yeah. He wouldn't be able to climb up there and be like pounding his chest.
They need to have some sort of reference of that at some point where he just elbows the Empire State Building and it's just toppled over.
Yeah. It's definitely iconic for Kong.
Yeah.
But look I mean, there he is. That's kind of like a way to know, I guess. He wouldn't be able to climb on an Empire State Building.
No.
Those buildings are. Is the 2005? Is that the one with Jack Black and Naomi?
Yeah, Jack Black.
Wow, I didn't realize it was 2005. Holy moly.
Yeah, I went and saw that when I was. Oh goodness, was I 8?
I remember seeing it and I had an intermission. I do remember that.
Dang, because I remember I saw that when I was living in Colorado. Goodness gracious, long time ago.
I didn't realize it was a 2005. Wow, that's crazy.
I think I might be wrong.
It's pretty. I mean, I know it was a long time ago. Let's see. No, not versus Godzilla. Let me give a shout out real quick.
Yep, 2005. Yep.
For the super chat, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm happy Dawson was able to drop in too. Thank you for your time with us on the live stream. Thank you so much. We appreciate the support, both of us. We really do.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Oh my God, yeah, 2005. I know you said it, but like since I pulled it up real quick. Wow. And
it's
even
insane.
in that movie, I think it was kind of like that was since the other ones were old,
Hmm.
they were probably, they didn't look as, he kind of just looked like a bigger than normal ape. That one was like, wow, they really made him like super
Yeah.
huge. It's CGI and,
And they made him fight freaking T-Rexes. That was cool.
yeah, I liked that movie.
It was a good one. I mean, the fight scenes in that one were just so dang good. I mean, the blending of CGI and real people isn't as good as far as today's standards now, but
Yeah.
I do remember the fight scene where King Kong literally breaks the jaw of a T-Rex, and in the theater as a little kid, I was just like, "Holy crap!"
I remember that. Yes, I do remember that. He just like smashes open his face.
That was so freaking cool.
Yeah. I think Godzilla's the obvious choice because of what he is. But
Mm.
then, like I was saying earlier too, I kind of liked what Ray Fisher was talking about when they asked him if he was Team Godzilla or Team Kong. And he was saying, like, obviously Kong is like the underdog. He's not going to really expect it to physically go up against Godzilla, but he's a little bit more like, I guess, emotionally, intellectually, he's different from Godzilla.
Okay.
Like kind of being an ape, like he can kind of connect. He connects with a human.
Yeah, he can probably improvise a little bit more, utilize his surroundings a little bit more.
I guess he's a little more like I wouldn't say like you can relate with him. Like he's a little bit more like people can connect with him.
He's slightly more human than Godzilla.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Like a thoughtless, not thoughtless, but he's kind of just like destructive and
Yeah.
he's a little bit more like a monster than King Kong. And King Kong is kind of like people think he's a monster because he's big and he kind of looks scary, but he's like gentle.
And he's more so like, nah, I'm not mad. I just don't like when helicopters fly into my face.
Yeah, I don't want to be captured and taken to be like an exhibit.
I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah. So I guess they're different in that way, but.
And that way, King Kong's like an old man. Just leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone.
Oh yeah, the older Jeff Bridges and Jessica Lange. Yeah.
Mm.
There have been a lot over the decades.
Yeah.
I remember I went to Universal Studios. It was a long time ago. I'm sure they probably have like more stuff now for that, but there was if you I was probably around 13 at the time, and we did like the tour where they kind of take you, like you can see where some movies have been filmed and stuff like that. And we went through like this tunnel thing, and there's like a giant King Kong where he like roars, and it's pretty cool. Like, but now it's like they can't make any. He's too big for that now.
Right.
You can't fit anything like that. But it's cool to think of like how they did that kind of stuff way back when.
Yeah.
They made the movies. They didn't always have this stuff.
You had to be a little bit more creative than just simply hire. I mean, don't get me wrong, graphic designers and like animators have to be very creative and have to be very skilled. But back then you had to like think through your problems kind of on the fly. Like, how are we supposed to bring this big, massive gorilla to life? Oh, we'll use like some scaling, like what's it called?
Yeah, like the backdrops are small and
and like we'll have a person stand really close to the camera and then have the big old or actually, no, stand far away from the camera and have the Godzilla like puppet stand really close and just kind of use the perspective. Like you had to really think about it. And even like with how they did, it's just kind of different tangent, but kind of how they did cool animations back then. Like, let's say like a news channel or something had like a little flashy thing of light that's shown towards a logo. They had to do that all practically with like film and paper with holes in them and stuff. But now it's just like, oh, put it in a program, insert, good to go. Let it to develop.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Like when I was in an interview with Fabian Wagner, he I think the question was, what is he like most proud of? Like which project that he's done or whatever. And he was saying, well, he always hopes it's the next one, but like at the same time, he's like, kind of been like in filmmaking and stuff like that. You're most proud of like the ones when you didn't have money.
Yeah, because you made it work.
You had to be really creative and like make $100 look like $100,000. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm proud of all the things that I put out right now because I'm broke.
You have to be more creative.
Yes.
Yeah, so it is pretty cool. What is a video game movie you would like to see be made? Mine has been Legend of Zelda. Imagine that with Ray George. I think it's always tough with video games.
Yeah.
I'm not a big gamer person, but like I'm familiar with like okay, we're getting Mortal Kombat soon,
Yeah.
and I gotta say it looks good.
Yeah, I've seen the stills, and I didn't grow up with Mortal Kombat personally, but from what I've seen from the game as well as the stills that I've seen from the movie, I mean, it seems pretty exciting. I'm excited for fans of the franchise to be satisfied with this and to have an actual true adaptation, which is always exciting in my book.
Yeah, I'm the same. I wasn't like a big, oh, I love to play and you know, I wasn't, but it's just one of those things, I guess, like that most people are at least familiar with.
Yeah.
So in that way, it should be, but I just think like with video games,
Oh, I was so confused what that was for a second. I was like, what does that do with a hook in his hand for?
it's, I think they're just always hard because people have just certain expectations. And then with games, like there's things that change. It's not always like, the same each time they release a new game or whatever. So people have like their own idea of how they want a certain character or story or whatever to be portrayed. And then if it's not, there's just too many. It's hard to please all the people who like that game.
Exactly, because even most games today that tend to be kind of open world, people play the game differently. Like, for example, if they try to make a Skyrim movie, it would never work because people have a different type of characters. People like the magic characters, people like to be knights, people like to be other different things, and they play it a very different way. So making a movie where it's one specific narrative kind of ruins that imaginative freedom that gamers have with that specific game,
Yeah.
But in answer to that question, what game would I want to be adapted into a movie? I always have to go with my favorite game of all time. This is one that very few people actually remember, but it's one of my childhood ones. It's Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy, and it's a very underrated one. And kind of you mentioned Legend of Zelda, or I guess that comment did. This is basically if Legend of Zelda was in Egypt, essentially. Okay. It's what the game style is. It's oh gosh, I love that game so much. I even have it on the Switch. They remastered it for the Switch, and I was just like, yep, I'm getting it.
Yes, shout out Vivek Shah. You support me a lot, so I'll definitely give you a shout out. Thank you for joining the live stream.
Gotta make sure my game doesn't mess with my poster.
Yeah, I do think it's hard to do the video game thing, like with Assassin's Creed. Like you would like, I guess people just expect that popular video games will equal successful movies. And I think it's just hard to please everyone.
Yeah.
Like Henry Cavill talked about it doing The Witcher. How there's just always going to be people who are not satisfied with it.
Right.
Because they just have a certain. Well, I guess it's different than a book because in a book, you kind of make your own mental pictures of characters.
Right.
So like when certain people are cast, you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of it makes sense for how I pictured it in my mind. But then, or it's not. But with games, like people already kind of have that.
Exactly.
And how they portray like the stories and like the way the character is. So then when they make a movie of it or a series or whatever, I think maybe series are better for video games.
Yeah, because with video games, there's more content, there's more story to explore. If you try to cram it all into a movie, it just doesn't normally work. By the way, what's up, Anthony from ACS? Good to have you here, man.
Yeah, I think series maybe do better.
I agree.
Video games have a lot of story, even though, like I said, I'm not a big gamer, but like they're basically like long movies that you play through.
Yeah, and some are like 16-hour stories. So like you try to cram that into 2 hours into a movie, that just doesn't work. And some like beloved characters get left out sometimes.
Yeah, or people are not happy with, we chose to go with this storyline.
Yeah,
or whatever compared to this other one, and so I understand why people.
And Eric, yes, I have played Breath of the Wild a lot, actually. Freaking love that game. So dang good. It's one of those games like, even when you beat the entire game, you can still play it for hours and hours and hours and just do whatever the heck you want because it's so open world and, oh, man, it's great.
For games, like me, like I said, I'm not a gamer, but like I I like old retro games. Like if I'm gonna play a game, like I like to play like Galaga or Pac-Man. Like those are the kind of games that will
Yeah.
entertain me. But like I have like my husband likes to watch like gameplay, and he used
Yeah.
to game a lot too. But it's crazy that like you can find like compilation videos on YouTube or whatever of just like story, like not even gameplay. It's just like the story parts, and it will be like as long as a movie.
Yeah.
So I understand why like people might not be will feel like the movies are kind of like cut down a lot, or they don't include enough of like the lore or the mythology. But it's
Yeah.
because they can't. Like maybe the series are a better route. Like for
I
Halo, I
agree.
know wasn't there going to be a Halo movie? It never happened.
They've been trying to make a Halo movie for like 12 years.
Yeah,
Like it's been a running project for so
right.
long.
Expectations are too high.
They are. They really are. By the time it finally ever gets made, like people just be like, "That's what we waited for 2 decades."
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. And then, what was the other one I was gonna say? Um, oh, you were talking about how your husband watches gameplay. That's one thing me and my wife do a lot, especially this one game called Detroit Become Human. That one, if you get the chance to watch that gameplay, that's a straight up movie. Like it's so good, so well done. Especially there's one scene where the characters are androids, right? And this android gets thrown to like the dump basically, and he's in this dumpster full of parts of other androids, and it's kind of a horror scene. Like he's seeing parts of other androids that he's seeing, and some of them are like partially still activated, some of them are dead, and he has to like pick up parts to like fix himself. And it's like raining, and it's all muddy around him, and it's like, man, this is depressing.
Like this is dark.
Yeah, but it was dang good.
Have you played Silent Hill?
I have not. I've watched a lot of videos about it, though. A lot of videos. It's like I get the general idea, but never got the chance to play it.
Okay. I thought there were straight to DVD Halo movies.
There might have been. I don't know.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I do know that, like, I remember a long time ago, like my husband and I had talked about it too. There was going to be a Halo movie, and then like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see. Halo movies. Amazon comes up. Halo Nightfall, but that's not. Oh, is that a movie? Prime Video. Watch. Let me share it. Is that one of the games, Nightfall?
I don't think so, because there's Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach, then Halo OTST.
No, I don't think this is part of the game. It says a legendary manhunter and naval intelligence officer and his team are investigating terrorist chatter on the distant colony world of Sidra when they are caught in a horrific biological attack that reroutes their mission. Does that sound like a game story?
Not.
No?
I mean, it could be a game story, but like, I don't know.
I don't know. Halo: The Fall of Reach. You said that was one, right? Oh, but this is relive the origin of the legendary Master Chief in the Spartan program in this 3-part animated adaptation of one of Halo's most beloved stories. So this is an animated thing.
Interesting.
Let me see if I can. I don't know. I just know that like there would probably be. I mean, I don't know. It would probably be split. Like I don't know. I think they would have high expectations for that game if they made a movie.
Oh yeah, it'd be way too high, way too high. I think that's why like they haven't done any like big releases of it, because they're just like they're terrified of disappointing Halo fans.
Yep. So yeah, I don't know. This looks like an animated thing on Amazon, but I don't know if there's straight to DVD movies. If there are, they're probably not, satisfactory.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard of them, so I mean, probably weren't that great. But then again, I don't know.
I don't think it's ever going to happen though, unless I think a series would be more successful. Thank you, Jorge, for the super sticker. I appreciate it. I like how here when I display it
just reads what it is to you. Yeah, it's like with my member emojis. Like there's one where it's just like my face, like a what face, like what, but instead it just says what, and I'm just like, I know what that is, but it's still funny.
Thank you, Hornet. I can see them when I go look at my on YouTube Studio, but
Yeah.
Isn't the Halo TV show coming out this year? I don't know. People are teaching us stuff in the
You're
chat.
you're asking the wrong people.
Let's see. Okay, this article is from November of 2020, so it's pretty recent. Halo TV series, everything we know so far. The Halo TV series has its core cast and has resumed production. Let me see if I can. I think I remember seeing something about that one time, a long time ago, maybe. But I'm not 100% sure.
I think I saw it and I was just like, yeah, we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things. Let's see. After years in development hell, yeah, that makes sense. The Halo TV series moving forward. Showtime.
Oh, really?
And Steven Spielberg's Amblin Television is producing. What?
Hold up. What? Hold on. Wait.
And we now know roughly when it's coming and who's playing some of the most important characters. Okay, there's not much we know for sure about the content, but there are going to be Spartans, with Master Chief taking his proper place as a central character. Cortana, well, yeah, you have to have her.
Right. I mean, Master Chief is obviously the most important one, so I'm glad they mentioned that, or else fans would get worried.
It's gonna be 9 episodes.
Huh.
Okay, let's see. Showtime, that means it should have a good budget then.
Yeah. Because, I mean, there was another good show that was just released on Showtime called The Good Lord Bird with Ethan Hawke, which, if any of you guys in the chat ever get a chance to watch that, I appear in it a couple times.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like a Civil War soldier in the background.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, you can barely see me. Like, you'd have to pause in order to even tell that it's me, but still counts.
It does. Let's see. Okay, so originally it was expected in the first quarter of this year, but production was halted because of COVID. So now it's kind of up in the air. It says when it's going to release, but let's see.
I feel like every major media outlet when it comes to movie news simply copies and pastes the same article, just fills in the details of the show in the different spots. Because they all say the same thing, like, due to COVID-19 restrictions and production was stopped. It's like, just copy and paste it. It's the same freaking thing.
It's been happening a lot, but
yeah.
So yeah, it was halted, but it says that they were supposedly back on set in November, which means that there's still likely a decent wait remaining for release. See, I'm trying to get back. Let me see. I don't know if I recognize any of these names. They recast Cortana. Okay. Natasha McKellen. Is that how you say that?
McElhane? I have no idea. Never heard of these people. I may know their face, but not their name.
Booking Woodbine. I don't know who that is. Again, not by name.
Yeah.
Huh.
Muy interesante.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it'll probably be better than if it's going to be Showtime. It'd probably be better than if it was just on a, a TV, a regular cable.
Yeah, or the CW.
That would be bad.
I mean, you just have to look at Martian Manhunter and Supergirl to know that would not be a good idea.
Oh my God, the first season when they showed him, it was so bad. The first time they showed him, I was like, wow, I can't believe they put that on there.
Yeah, someone had to sign off on that. Someone had to say, yes, that looks good. Do it. And I don't envy the person who that was.
That was really bad. But it probably, I'm guessing it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, better be.
Yeah, I think, maybe it'll be more successful than I think a movie would have been for sure.
Yeah.
Who's my favorite Hunger Game character? I don't know. I haven't watched those movies in a long time.
Yeah, my sisters read those books and they watched all those movies. I stopped at the second one just because it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah. I didn't read the books, but I watched the movies.
My sisters dragged our entire family to the movies.
Oh.
So.
For all of them?
Yeah, well, actually, no, they dragged me to the first two. Then I moved out to LA and then they dragged the rest of my family to the other ones while I was out in LA.
Okay.
So yeah. So I escaped.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the movies.
They were
But
fun.
then, yeah, but then again, I mean, I didn't read the books, so you know,
Yeah.
I guess
You
you
don't have
probably
as much vested interest.
yeah, and I guess
Yeah.
if you didn't read the books, then you're probably not as like you're more attached to books usually when movies come out.
Yeah.
Books are usually better.
Yeah. For the most
Oh,
part.
Russian Family Dawson League spinoff.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
It was such a waste.
I'm gonna say Das Vidanya to that idea.
Oh, so Finnick. Yeah, that was sad. I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't seen those movies in a long time, but
Yeah, it's been a while.
if that Halo thing happens, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I don't have Showtime, but like,
I only had it to try to find myself in that show, and then I immediately quit my subscription afterwards.
that's understandable.
Because like I don't need 4 streaming services in my life.
Yeah, I know. It starts getting like, okay, I was glad Disney Plus did the like the bundle thing with Hulu because I already had Hulu.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, well that helps.
Well, it's nice because I'm still like in a family phone plan with my complete family, and so with that Verizon, we got all access to Disney Plus, which is nice. So I only have to pay for Netflix and HBO Max right now, which is nice.
And then I'm sure like all of us, we share stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. Oh yeah, that was another thing. Ray Fisher. Again,
yeah. Tweeting out by Walter Hamada.
That he still owes an apology to, those who participated in the Just League investigation.
Yeah. And some people will see that as like another diva comment, but at the same time, it's like, no, it's just what he wants all along is just accountability.
Yeah.
People all fess up to what they do with these productions as well as the investigations. So
yeah, I mean, he's just asking for like decency.
Yeah.
It's not like
because we know how crappy Hollywood can be to the people who work in it. Like we know this from experience and news that have come out over the many years that Hollywood's been around. So like the fact that people still doubt the possibility of something bad happening on a film studio or in a film company it's beyond me. It really is.
Yeah, it's not even like realistic to just say like, oh, because these people are famous or rich or in the public eye that stuff doesn't happen. Like that's not,
Yeah.
No, doesn't. Yeah.
And it's so funny because people are still overlooking. Like I've put out a couple of videos regarding that audio clip that Ray Fisher put out last week.
Yeah.
And I talked about how the investigator calls him credible, which is a big, important detail in that clip that a lot of people are overlooking. And yeah, and some guy commented on my video and he's like, so some guy called him credible. So what? It's like, it's the investigator calling him credible. That's what. Like, that's the big thing that was supposed to come out of that. But you somehow missed it, even though I explained it in the video.
Yeah, exactly. I had the same experience. Like, I would mention the Ray Fisher stuff here and there in a video or two, like in a video, if it was something that, like, oh, he tweeted something or shared something. But I wasn't making, like, whole videos dedicated to, the updates.
Yeah.
But when he released the audio, I was like, I'm going to make a whole video about this. And I already knew that it was going to be, like, it's not, my channel is still small, so I don't get, like, a ton of, like, crappy comments. Because it's still small. So it's like, okay, like the more you grow, obviously the more people are like,
just make a video about a religious movie and then you'll see that they come pretty fast.
But I knew that video was going to like bring, like I was going to have more negative comments, more dislikes. Like I already knew that just because people were so bothered by the situation.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't care, but it was just like, I don't understand the why behind it.
Yeah.
Like people will, leave negative comments on it or whatever. Like people were saying, well, we don't know who that is, who that really is in the recording. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure legally he wouldn't be able to say that he's releasing a recording talking to the investigator if it's not them.
Yeah.
You can't just say that being part of this investigation.
Yeah.
And like, oh, well, they said at the end, facts are facts. So they're obviously talking about, that nothing really happened in the evidence. I'm like, no. Because they just said You've provided everything you said you would. You've been a man of your word. You've been credible.
Yeah.
You gave us names. You gave us all the stuff you said you would. So yeah, after all that, they called him credible, which means you can't twist that. I
Yeah.
don't understand how people are trying to twist that.
Exactly. I keep saying you can't call someone credible, then call someone a liar in the same sentence. That's just not
Yeah,
how logic works.
yeah. It just I know people, and then the funny thing too is that like people keep saying, well, he hasn't given us any, like tangible, hard, concrete, like okay, this is the truth. And I'm like, first of all, I don't know if people think he's going to be able to provide, but then he finally gives something that's like a little along those lines, and people are like, no, no, I don't buy
Yeah.
it.
It's just like moving the goalpost much a little bit here.
Yeah,
But
that's exactly what it is. That's exactly.
that's what the part that still boggles my mind, that people are like, I'll believe when he provides concrete evidence. It's like, who do you think the evidence goes to in an investigation? Do you think that they uncover it then immediately say, this has to be known by the public? Put it out there. That's not what they do. That's not how
Yeah,
investigations work. That's not how the law works.
yeah. It
But
just I don't know what people think he's going to be able to put out there publicly during an
yeah.
investigation. Like just the fact that he was able to release that recording was a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. They want video proof. Like we see it and hear everything that's happening. That's not gonna happen. Like
The
give us.
reason they want that is because they're not willing to put in the research behind the scenes of what happened, like the people in the movement have. Like, we've been following this story, and I mentioned this in my video. We've been following this story with Justice League for 3 years. We've
Yeah,
been following everything. We've seen interviews with the cast, as well as the director, as well as all these other things, and circumstantial evidence that suggests that what Ray Fisher is alleging is more than likely what happened.
yeah,
But yet people simply come into it, without any information, and they're like, oh, this is obviously like another like cancel culture thing. And somebody even said that, like, this cancel culture is real, dude. Is like, yeah, sure, cancel culture, sure, I'll give you that, but that would be a difference. It would be, hold on, it would be a good argument on your side if that's what Ray Fisher was trying to do, but he's
yeah.
not.
He's not. Yeah, and that like someone on my channel kept commenting like they kept asking how could Walter Hamada have protected Jeff Johns if it was a third party investigation? How could he protect him from a third party investigation? I'm like, no. The thing is that he was trying to get Ray Fisher off his back. Like, just leave him out of it.
Mhm.
Don't be putting his name out there.
He was trying to get Ray Fisher to throw the other two under the bus and leave
Yes,
Jeff Johns alone. And apparently, with the whole like Warner Brothers investigator in that Zoom call, apparently, it suggested that he tried to get information about Jeff Johns' allegations to warn Jeff Johns beforehand of said allegations.
yeah.
So like,
I was like, he's not. We're not talking about like he's trying to do this cover up like in a legal. You know what I
mhm,
mean? It's like he was just trying to keep him out of it. Like, okay, we don't want anything to happen to. We don't want him to be involved.
mhm.
In this whole situation. And I'm like, that's what he was trying to do. Like, leave Jeff Johns out of it. We don't want, you know what I mean? We don't want any blame put on him or,
We don't
just,
want a precious comic book writer to be in trouble.
yeah, yeah.
Which, I
So,
mean, to be fair, he does write good comic books, but at the same time, if you're a garbage human being, like, there should be repercussions to that.
yeah, exactly. And I like how on Point Dexter Lounge, when Ray Fisher was like, just because someone has a certain talent or creativity doesn't mean they should be in a leadership role. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you had seen that thread that was going around of like the Jeff Johns, um, like ways that he's interfered or like messed up with
Yeah.
movies and some of his quotes of like how I write the comics so I know the characters and like it kind of helps me out when I'm in a room full of people and they're throwing around ideas and I'm like, no, you should, I'm like, well, that's a jerk attitude about it.
Yeah, it is. Like, oh, I write this stuff, so therefore I know
Yeah,
everything. I know
yeah,
the only way these characters can go. It's like, well, you seem to be a Debbie Downer on creativity, don't you?
and he made Green Lantern, which was not like a you know A plus.
I mean, did he? Oh, I mean, the Green Lantern movie. Oh, yeah, the Green Lantern
Yeah,
movie. That's what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, no, that. They were writing the script as they were filming. Like, that's how bad that situation was.
it's like I don't know. I just think that that's a really jerk situation. That's a jerk attitude to have about it.
Yeah.
So
I
it
mean,
kind of shows like his perspective on those making the movies, and just because he wrote the
yeah.
comics, that he's like, well, I know this is the best way to go. You need to listen to me.
And that's just like when you're in a creative environment, when you're in a creative line of work, like either drawing or painting or writing, you have to have an open mind to possibilities as well as other people's interpretations of characters and stories. And if you have a closed mind about things, that limits you as someone who's able to provide or produce content. But like if you're Jeff Johns and you write everything by yourself and you write the story on your own, you might be able to produce a good story. But if you have to work with others, which on a film set you have to, then it becomes a problem.
I mean, when you just think of like how many people it takes to make a movie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know there's a lot that goes into it that, you know, not only writing or whatever, like there's a whole bunch that goes into it, but it's like there's a lot of people who get writing credit. I mean, it's not just, you know, one person who writes the story or comes up with, you know, their concepts or like there's a whole, it's a team thing.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not like, you know, it's not really fair of him to.
Yeah. And also it's, you look at Zack Snyder, who was an art major, right? He's an artist. And then you have Jeff Johns, who's a writer, which again, writing is also another art in and of itself. But when you have a very determined writer, but also a very imaginative artist, you have a clash of conceptual minds there that happens to where like one person wants to represent things in a certain way and the other person's like, no, we got to write it this way. And then it becomes a battle of egos, which in this case, I think the bigger ego of the two would be Jeff Johns.
Yeah. And like, and plus Zach is super visual. So
yes,
you know, that's how he chooses to tell the story. And, you know, I mean, with other things, yeah, but he's super visual.
Yeah.
Did you hear about there was a Zoom call for Walter Hamada needs Greg Berlanti's help where we would see DC TV characters? I did see that. It was super confusing.
Yeah.
I was really confused by it. Let me see if I can find the tweet.
Yeah, I saw the tweet a while back. I wasn't sure how credible that was. I can't remember who posted it or posted about it.
Someone from the Vulcan Reporter. I was confused by it too because then they also tweeted that it was. Watch, let me bring it up. I was like, that's a little concerning.
Just a smidge. Just a smidge. I mean, no offense to Greg Berlanti, but like, and to be fair, his CW has been like limited due to like rights and stuff as well as budget. So that definitely gives him more favor in that sense that if he was given more of a budget and given more freedom with characters that he could like help out in a sense. But given how the CW's gone, I just don't want anything from the CW to touch the big films. I mean, sure, connect in a way with multiverse, but like don't make people in charge of the CW in charge or have great influence on the DCEU.
Like, there's nothing. That's fine that those are the way the shows are on the CW. Like,
yeah,
you know, they do what they can.
Yeah.
But, okay, so the tweet is in a Zoom call earlier this month. DC Films asked the help of Berlanti Productions and other DC TV producers when it comes to world building in the DCEU. Characters from DC television series will also be appearing in upcoming movies. So everyone was like, what the heck is going on? And then, but then the, you know, they retweeted it and like kind of added something to it. And they said appearing as in crossover cameos. I don't think they're making the Arrowverse canon in the DCEU or other stuff like that.
Good.
So I think
that's more comforting.
Yeah. I think people were getting worried that like, you know, oh, it's just all gonna all of a sudden like everything's gonna
like all of a sudden the DCEU is gonna become CW in movies.
Right.
Which would be the worst thing to happen.
Yeah, so I think people were kind of concerned when they saw that. But
yeah.
Let me see, something else popped up. They tweeted about it again. But where did it go? I just thought.
But I find it so funny that if that report is true, they're asking for help when creating their world. Is like you literally had a director who had a planned world and a planned story and a planned arc.
Yeah.
You had that guy.
I know, and that's why it bothers me when people are like, well, Marvel had a plan and DC doesn't have a plan. It's like, well, Marvel just stuck to their plan. Well, in a way, I mean, mostly they did. And DC didn't, and that was where the problems happened.
Right. Like DC had a very closed plan of like basically a comic book run and then expand things from there. But
Yeah.
Warner Brothers got cold feet. Warner Brothers got cold feet, and they decided, no, that this is not paying off fast enough. We need to, make billions faster than this, even though they made more money in the first 3 movies than the Marvel first 3 movies. But that's beside the point. They're just like, no, we got to be making that Marvel money now. It's like, so put in the work. And they're like, no, screw work. We're going to screw our directors and actors. And anyway.
See, then they said, honestly, I was originally convinced that this was just a cameo. I feel like it might have been at the time, but plans have changed. So I guess maybe they're kind of talking about, too, what Ann Sarnoff had said not too long ago, the WB CEO, about wanting, wanting to kind of make it feel like the movies and the TV series kind of live in the same
multiverse,
world. Yeah. So I think, I don't know, I think people might be getting a little overly worried about like, everything is now going to be like, all the movies are going to be like the TV shows.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case. I just think that they might want to acknowledge.
You're going to see a lot of oddly worded tweets and articles that are going to say that they're not going to understand the whole multiverse thing. They're going to say like, oh yeah, they share a world. And people are going to be like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? But they don't understand how to word it the way the comic book fans understand. And hence that tweet, the first tweet anyway, made it seem like, oh, they're going to like transition to all being movies and stuff. So again, you're going to see a lot of those things. People in the chat, you're going to see a lot of tweets and articles like that are going to be confusing. But when you get to the bare bones of it, it makes sense. And kind of talk about that Flash cameo for a sec. There's been theories about that for a while. I know back, it was a couple months ago when, actually, it might have been 4 months ago when the Culture Nerd was on, Taylor Murphy was on Lightcast podcast. So I talked about the Flash, or Ezra Miller's Flash, being on the Crisis, that was kind of when Zack Snyder was back and we just didn't know it, right? Like that's around the time where they were like, okay, let's do the Zack Snyder's Justice League thing, and they inserted this, and then of course COVID and all that stuff, and all of a sudden they couldn't necessarily do it the way they wanted to, which originally they wanted to do in the theaters. Of course, a big old event, obviously, but of course can't really do that to a certain extent. But anyway, that's one theory that's been thrown out about this, is that this was the moment that signified that Zack was back, but people just didn't get that message.
That could be, and I do remember them saying it was a last-minute thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't like this whole they planned it throughout the season or like episodes leading up to it. I remember them saying it was like something they did really, do we have time? Something they said like, can we do this? Will we be able to?
Mm.
They did. I think, when were they talking about that at DC Fandom? Maybe.
I think so. Possibly. I could be wrong.
More about like that's kind of when they made it apparent. Like, yes, we're going to introduce the multiverse, and this was like the kind of introduction to like showing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's still weird for me seeing it like that. Like, it's weird seeing them together.
Yeah, it is strange because you look at the Ezra Miller's suit, and then you look at Grant Gustin's. Like, don't get me wrong, for a TV show suit, Grant Gustin's looks fine. Then you look at Ezra Miller's, and it's just like, dude.
I know. I always liked his suit. I never had a problem with it, but I am still like interested to see his new suit too.
Yeah, his new suit in the Flash movie, if that ends up happening.
If that ever happens, I know. God, it's just been like doomed from the beginning, man. Jeez, like
it's
coming and going, and
like there's a couple of things that could happen here. Either it ends up being too much drama, and they just decide to not do it.
Yeah.
Or they get things fixed at Warner Brothers and DC Films, and then they bring back Cyborg for it. Or they do it without Cyborg and get a lot of backlash from Zack Snyder's Justice League fans. Like either way, it's a bad day for somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not going to be a perfect situation, I guess, unless, like you said, they get things fixed the way that they should be. But I don't know. I guess since, I don't know, what Ray Fisher, when he said that he doesn't want to be involved with anything Walter Hamada is attached to, I wonder what they could do to like convince him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what would make him feel like he has, but he kind of already said it. So,
but that's also an interesting conversation as to what he means by attached to, because like obviously one thing that people always think of when they say attached to, that means like, oh, anything DC, which isn't necessarily a given, right? Because when you say associated with Walter Hamada, that can just simply mean projects that he is directly overseeing. Which, as president of DC Films, he can choose which projects he is directly overseeing and producing. Like, for example, The Flash, The Suicide Squad, and The Batman. Those are 3 main things up until 2023. But everything else he delegates to another executive to help produce. Like, for example, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Hamada's not touching that. He's not connected to that. He's not producing that. I guess, except for the fact that it's like a DC film, right? That's the only reason that he would be connected at all, but he's not producing it. And so if you have Zack Snyder's Justice League 2, for example, or Part 2, with Zack Snyder's Justice League being successful in HBO Max, then you could have a situation where that movie can move forward without Walter Hamada being a direct producer, and then Ray Fisher would go there and, you know, work on it and not have to deal with Walter Hamada. So that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, and that's why, like, when people have asked him during his, you know, he's been going live a lot on Instagram, people always, of course, people are asking him right away, like, if Zack asked you, would you, you know, play Cyborg again? Or he said, yeah, of course I would answer that call.
Yeah.
And also someone asked him, like, would he want to do like a Cyborg series on HBO Max or something like that? So he was like, well, yeah, if it, you know, of course I'd want to. So it just depends, like you said, it doesn't automatically mean that he's never going to play that role again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more to it than that, but
there's just a lot of moving parts, and people like to make it seem so black and white when it's really a lot of shades of gray, and then way over here is a little bit of white, and a little bit over there is a little bit of black. Like, there's a lot of stuff in the middle that has to be figured out.
Yeah. But I guess just like as far as the Flash movie, I don't know what would have to happen in order for him to be a part of that again. Like, that's, I guess,
right.
That's a little bit different, but.
Well, Andy Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti would have to they would have to say something about them really wanting him in the film and kind of make a scene about it, or you know, Walter Hamada just kind of fixes things with Ray Fisher, like sets things right, and then make it to where he's okay to work with him again, or something along those lines. Like, something has to take place. It's not just going to all of a sudden be like, oh, we just changed our mind, Cyborg's going to be in it. You know, we don't dislike him anymore because he's trying to call us out or anything. One of those two things has to happen, right? And I think a lot of people are still waiting they're still waiting for the Muschiettis to say something, because they haven't said anything as far as I understand.
Not that I know either. And I think something pretty significant would have to happen as far as like Ray Fisher feeling conscious, like his conscience feels okay to do it, especially because he said like he doesn't want to be a part of Walter Hamada's, you know, projects. So since he said that, you know, and he said it publicly, I feel like he's kind of going to have to, like, he feels like maybe in good conscience he wants to stick to that. But maybe, like you said, if something significant happens that makes him feel comfortable, then, you know, but like I said, I guess it'd have to be something between them that would happen, or and they're not really being publicly honest about the situation.
Right.
That doesn't help. Like, even if they fix things behind the scenes between them two privately, they need to fix it publicly as well.
Because the relationship with their fans is more strained than it's ever been. Especially with fans of theirs that are Zack Snyder fans. Because, I mean, we've already dealt with the past 3 years of Warner Brothers, like, hiding the whole Zack Snyder situation and covering up, like, the whole Ben Affleck Batman movie and how that was canceled during the reshoots of Justice League instead of, like, later on as we were led to believe. You know, so they've been deceiving for the past half a decade. And they'd have to fix that with their fans and say, like, yeah, we messed up. We're sorry. We're going to be more dedicated to fulfilling the desires of the fans, as well as making our work environment safe for actors and our directors. At that point, then fans be like, okay, all right, we see you. Thank you. Put out the content, and then we'll see what you do.
Yeah, and that's what I talked about too, is like, it doesn't make any sense to me why they would choose to cater more to like the negativity around the movie universe instead of like just, I mean, riding the positive, like the fan base that they have.
Yeah.
You know, they, instead of like acknowledging that, okay, this is not for everybody, but we do have a strong fan base and we're sticking to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To Warner Brothers' credit, though, I think back then, people who were positive on Zack Snyder's universe, I think were a lot more silent back then. Very silent. And so the only thing they were hearing was the negative noise.
Yeah. I'm sure there were people, obviously, who, I mean, like, Christopher Nolan, I don't like his attitude recently.
Yeah, he's kind of a diva. Just a little bit.
But he was obviously supportive of Zack Snyder.
Right.
You know, starting with Man of Steel. And I appreciate that. Like, I can appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
You know, because he obviously played a big role in the studio, like, okay, I guess we're going to let you do this and see how it goes. So they were obviously, like, hesitant already because he wanted to kill Zod. Like, even Christopher Nolan said, I could tell you why you shouldn't have him kill Zod. Like, that's probably not going to go well. But he still, you know, he still backed him up to the studio saying, like, this is where he's going. Like, just give it a chance.
Yeah.
You know, with the tone and how he's, like, you know, deconstructing him and stuff like that. So at least he backed him up on that. And I'm sure there were other, like you said, other people, obviously, who were, like, on board and supportive of where he went with it. But
yeah, for sure.
Know, it wasn't just, but, like, the perception that everyone got publicly was like, oh no. I mean, they kind of let him do his thing with BVS besides cutting it down.
A whole 30 minutes.
Yeah. But then after that, we were like, no, we can't keep going this route. So, you know, I mean, I guess it just, I don't know. It's weird to me that, like, they would worry and cater more to the backlash that they got, but I guess they just were like, okay, this is not going to work. So,
yeah,
you know, but
yeah,
hopefully, you know,
hopefully they learn.
We keep saying that they're going to learn, but I don't know. They keep proving us wrong. So
they get a new, what's the word I'm looking for? They get a new regime in there, and then they still don't learn. And it's just like, dang it, I thought we were past this.
Yeah, that's what I've said too about the whole Ray Fisher thing. That people are like so annoyed by the situation. I'm like, I don't get it. Like
I'm so sorry that your movie's being put off because some things need to be set right. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I just don't understand the fact that people are like, you know, he's a liar. Like, I don't, like you said, the studio wasn't honest about any of the stuff that was going on with Justice League. So I don't see why people are like so quick to say that he's lying when obviously we were completely deceived about the whole thing.
Well, some people out there, actually a lot of people out there, unfortunately, are bound and determined that all the trades that report on Ray Fisher or on anything really are all factually correct. That there's no way they would lie to people, that they report the news and nothing but that. But these people fail to realize that every single news outlet of any kind, whether it be media, political, what you name it, any media outlet out there has a bias or has a certain way of manipulating the truth to fit their own needs and get clicks.
Yeah, and they have an audience.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I mean, I guess we are too in a way. Like, you know, most of my content, I mean, especially since May, is about the Snyder Cut. You know, like, what else am I getting? That's the biggest thing to talk about. So yeah, I support it, and yes, I support Ray Fisher. You know, I don't. You know, like, people are like, oh well, you know, you have an opinion and people can disagree with it. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
But you know, but I'm like, just don't waste your time and your energy leaving a comment that you're so bothered by the Ray Fisher thing, because I don't care. Like, I don't understand the problem with, like, people, with someone having a, you know, like, this personal experience that they feel like people should be held accountable for this. And, like, people are bothered by that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and like I'm more, and that's one thing I said in my video where I talked in depth about, like, lead up to Ray Fisher's situation. And I talked about how, like, look, at the end of the day, if you don't agree or don't believe Ray Fisher, that's totally up to you. Like, that's totally fine. The main thing I always asked is be respectful about it, which is what a lot of these people don't know how to do. Like, I can't tell you how many times, even after a thorough rundown of all the things that went down, I've gotten comments of some people, like, questioning my intelligence, which, like, sure, if people don't know me personally, like, sure, go ahead. You can think I'm an idiot, whatever. But, like, to say that, that's just like, that's not a decent thing for a human being to say. You know, it's just somebody did not get taught that as a kid. Somebody did not get spankings as a kid, and it shows.
That's my problem with it too. Is, like, I am all for, like, okay, having, like, an actual like respectful dialogue about something.
Yeah.
That's obviously like when you're on a social platform, that's okay. That's what you expect to do about certain topics. But like you don't need to be like nasty.
Yeah.
Like I don't that's what I don't that's not what my channel's about. That's not what I'm on social media for. Like
No.
I don't want to waste time with people who are just like who want to argue just because like just to argue.
Yeah.
Like I don't yeah. You can have your own opinion and that's fine, but
Yeah.
there's a way to express it without just like being rude.
Attacking people. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this has been the longest live stream for me so far.
How long has it been going?
I started at 6:45 Eastern time.
Oh.
Yeah. And which no, I'm glad you came on though, because when I usually when I'm by myself, I don't go for like more than an hour and a half.
It's hard to go longer than that by yourself.
Yeah,
It really
yeah,
is.
yeah. But then since I guess if I would have noticed your message earlier, but since I didn't, I was like, no, I gotta bring them on because it's always more fun to have someone to talk to. So I definitely wanted to bring you on for sure.
I appreciate that. It's been fun being here.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. But
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to probably end it here. But before we go, just want to remind everyone that the link to my merch is in the description. And if you follow me on Twitter, it's also in the bio of my Twitter profile, but it's always in the description of every video, so you can find it there. Oh, and also right now there's a sale going on, so you can get 15% off with code Hive, Hive. So check that out if you're interested. And Nerdy in Many Ways, Dawson, thank you so much for joining us. Please tell everyone where they can find you in case they aren't following you yet.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at NIMW32, and it's the same as well on Instagram. You can also follow me on Vero at Dawson Weidrich, spelled Wiedrich, kind of a difficult one. I just posted a review of the DC animated film Justice League, The New Frontier. I started a new series of DC animated film reviews just per request. And we're also putting out a new video sometime soon within the next week or so, our next video in the What If series. And the next What If video is what if Supergirl was in the DCEU? So that's going to be very fun to write. And yeah, again, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And that's a cool series to have, the What If. I like that you ask for suggestions for it. And it's cool to like see what people, suggest and what people, I like to see people's like theories and,
yeah,
just like, oh, I never thought about that. That's a cool thing.
Plus, just gives you a chance to just like be creative and kind of have fun when you're recording. And like when I found the sound effect to make my voice sound like Batfleck's like art, like augmented voice, I was like, yes. I was like, sweet.
That is really cool. I'll have to hear how that sounds.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yes, check out Dawson. Go subscribe to his channel. Follow him on Twitter. He's always, putting out fun stuff, and he's always great to have discussions with. And you can also catch him on the Four Nerds every Thursday.
I always fail to say that. Yes,
I
but
just thought of it for some. I don't even know how I remembered.
But this Thursday,
last night.
Yeah, it's all good. But this Thursday, it's actually at a different time. We changed it to 9:30 p.m. Eastern time because Taylor Murphy from the Culture Nerds gonna be on there, and he's in the West Coast. So like 7:30 p.m. Eastern time is like what 4:30 for him there, and he has like kids and stuff and a job. He has a life, so he can't quite do that at the same time. But anyway, yes, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Taylor Murphy, the Culture Nerd. It's gonna be a good show.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw you guys last night. You guys had the guys from they were from the Culture Nerd too, right? Or from
No, they were DC Film Squadcast.
DC Film Squadcast. That's right. Okay, yeah. I did. I was able to watch most of it. So.
Yeah, and we've got some cool team shirts coming pretty soon for the Four Nerds. So that's all I'll say about that. But they're pretty cool. That's all I'll say.
Awesome. You guys keep a lookout for that. I'm sure you'll be sharing it on Twitter.
Yes.
And talking about it on streams and stuff and videos. So thanks guys so much for joining us tonight. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. Stay safe out there. And we will see you next time. Make sure you subscribe, leave a thumbs up. And thanks again for all the super chats.